wanna wake up in a Lamborghini. I want to fly for Santorini. Make money to see me. Oh, yeah. If I want money, I do what I got to say. If I want money, I'm all by my shoulder. I'm all by my foya. I'm all by me. Yeah. I wanna be a billionaire. I wanna be a billionaire.
Well, it's a beautiful Tuesday morning. It's Consumer Voice on Impact Business Radio, IBR. We're here again on Consumer Voice, and it's going to be very exciting, like it always is. Today, we're going to be discussing something very critical, especially among the business owners, the SMEs, the small, medium enterprise business, because we know that in Nigeria, 95% of businesses are actually SMEs, and to a large extent, small, medium scale businesses actually drive economy, so to speak. So if we are going to drive economy to actually deliver more value, of course, it is expected that government support SMEs ecosystem, because trust me, the most important thing about economic growth is how much of value that businesses are creating to advance the prosperity of a nation. So all over the world, countries that are actually bent on developing or advancing their economy, they focus largely on SMEs, supporting SMEs. And in Nigeria, we know that to become a businessman, to run a business as an SME, as an entrepreneur, is quite difficult. And because of that, we know that quite a lot of things are being put together by governments, different agencies to support SMEs, especially women who are actually interested in building businesses, because we know that to a large extent, SMEs happen to be the pillar of any vibrant economy. So to discuss this topic this morning, that's all about doing and running SMEs in Nigeria. Matter arise, that's our topic for this morning. And to discuss this topic, we have an entrepreneur in house, somebody who actually has cut her teeth across, especially when it comes to running businesses. She has several products in her kitchen, and to a large extent, they're actually doing well. She has got a lot of experience, diverse experience when it comes to running businesses. She was actually a trained vet doctor. We are talking of Dr. Mrs. Olatunji Oluwatomisin. Dr. Mrs. Olatunji Oluwatomisin. She's the CEO and founder of Mamalak Foods Limited. The CEO of Mamalak Foods Limited, Dr. Mrs. Olatunji Oluwatomisin. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, sir.
It's good to have you in the studio.
It's nice to be here also this morning.
Wow. It's still morning. Now, it's quite interesting to know that running business in Nigeria is quite critical. I actually want to... who is an entrepreneur? Let's start from there.
I think an entrepreneur is someone who, in very odd terms, I'll say is somebody who has to have a bit of craziness to be able to survive in Nigeria.
That's the own definition.
That's the own definition. Because running the business in Nigeria is not for the faint-hearted. Especially if you have to combine with other things you do. So an entrepreneur is someone who tries to make an impact by giving value added services or products to people in the society, and also because they want to earn money, because everybody's out to earn money. So,
of course.
But they just don't want to earn money. They want to give value in return.
Okay.
To any money also.
Oh, that's quite good, Doctor Olatunji. I also want to find out. You know, you have been in this running your own business for how long now?
I was almost 17 years since I was in school.
Oh wow! You've been an entrepreneur since the school
days. My 100 level days, I've always been in business.
So what were you selling there? What were you doing there?
My 100 level, I decided, I don't know, just decided I needed money, and I went to Amutajero to buy adire.
Okay.
And I came back, and all my mom's colleague had to buy adire by force. I did not know that they were doing me a favor. Okay. I sold, so I assumed it was business. They gave me money. When I went to buy the next batch, nobody bought again. That's when I realized I had been scammed. That's not how to run a business.
Okay.
Then in my 200 level, I used to produce snails. I was teaching someone yesterday night that I used to sell snails. I would wash them, package and supply to food code. Then my 200 to my 400 level.
Okay.
I had to pause because of schoolwork at some point.
Okay.
And since then, been to one thing or the other.
Wow. That's quite interesting. Being an entrepreneur is quite challenging. And you started right from school. At what point you're trained vet doctor?
Yes.
Are you practicing?
I would say at the moment, not exactly.
Not exactly. Okay. You want to say something about why you're not doing it full time?
I've always wanted to be a vet with a difference.
Okay.
So in school, clinicals was really not my high point.
Okay.
Then I had I had an early entry into development world, into the NGO world. So it's colored the way I saw things.
Okay.
At some point. So when I left school, I went to the volunteering. I went to development. I used to as a secondary school person, when the ELP program started, I used to be a volunteer. I was trained with AF. So it gave me an insight into how the development world looks like. When I finished, I didn't want to work for anybody. That was a given. So while I was looking for what to do, I was going for service and all that, I met a colleague of my mom who was discussing what do you want to do after school, and I told her, I said, there's money in NGO world though. If you finish service, just come back and come and do NGO. And I assumed, he gave me the suggestion from his own point of view. He didn't tell me that NGO world is not just NGO world. That he had so many things behind it. So I went to serve. I was paid very well then. I went to serve. I brought money back. So just had advised NGO world. Then I did a bit of NGO activities. I volunteered with VSO at some point. So it also gave me an idea of it made my development world this thing, education broader.
Okay.
So I decided, let's do it. You can do it. And the bulk of the money I brought from service entered. I went to register NGO and all that. And of course, what do you think? It went down the drain. It went down the drain. And by the time, after about 1 year or 2 years after service, we had to sit down back and say, what do you really want to do with your life?
Okay.
So.
Okay. That's quite a turbulent one. And you learn by doing it, and it's the experience that actually shaped you eventually. But one important thing I want to find out, as an entrepreneur, what are the things that you actually face at the beginning of this journey of trying to run your business? What are the major challenges?
Major challenges.
At the beginning, I'm not saying now, you've done it 17 years, but at the beginning, when you wanted to start. Yeah.
It was marketing is a skill that everyone has to have.
Okay.
So as an entrepreneur, getting typically education system doesn't encourage us to be entrepreneurs.
Okay.
They encourage you to be more of employees. You take orders. You are not taught to think outside the box per se.
Okay.
So the education that you had to figure out almost everything on my own. You do marketing. You had to do pricing. You had to sourcing. You had to move around. I had to learn how to source. My mom used to sell, so she taught me pricing, basically, the typical this thing. So she, this is how you mark up, this is how you calculate your pricing. at least to be able to run. So that basic education was missing. I had to learn the ropes myself.
Okay.
Then also challenges that with the businesses when they were coming up. Yes, I had a bit of regulatory challenges at some point, but it wasn't serious because I wasn't on a very large scale. So it wasn't too serious. But I also encountered something like that. Then the business itself. Okay, when I was selling snails, I had challenges with it. Having to market to moving around. Then I had to let me say Yoruba, I had to buy tiju because I had to carry this cooler. I was selling frozen snails, so I had to carry this cooler around Bodija, Axis. I'll come from Akpata.
Wow. And
I'll come to Foodco. My mom was encouraged, don't worry, you can do it. Okay, so I had to move around to supermarkets that I wanted to supply. And each person will tell you, no, we don't need these products.
Wow.
No, we don't do this. Wow. Until I got to the place where they said, okay, we'll pick it from you. Because I think they had a kind of arrangement then that for students, they don't accept students to work with them. Okay. But if you have a product to sell, they would accept from you. So that arrangement, I keyed into it and it helped.
Well, yeah, you've really shared it's quite a challenging one when you started. Now, from what you said, because we're actually talking about running businesses in Nigeria, the challenges, the ups and downs, and this actually affects how SMEs, developed or thrive in our economy. Now, but one important thing I actually want to find out, people have been talking about it, that, fine, you want to start business, you want to do this, but you don't have experience. You can't do it because you need to go and learn it. So, is it necessary to apprentice, to undertake, or to undergo apprenticeship, under established business before you start your business? Is it necessary?
If you have the chance, I would advise that you do it. It cuts short your learning time. Okay. If instead of you making those mistakes yourself, you can leverage other people's experiences to learn. Learning, if you learn with guidance, that's how we all go to school. Otherwise, you could have homeschooled. If homeschool at some point, they will tell you to come to school and still learn under somewhere. So, if it was easy to learn per se, everybody would just go to homeschool and don't need to get someone. But if you have that apprenticeship relationship, it helps you. It helps you learn. You have someone to look up to. Someone has made those mistakes. You won't come and waste time because what you should learn in 3 years, you can learn it in 6 months. You won't lose money. That person has lost money, so you can leverage on the experience of losing money. So you won't lose money, you won't lose time, and time is money. So if you think you've lost money, you are losing time, you're losing extra money in the process. So if you can do, I think one of the things that also helped at some point was I had some senior colleagues who went to business, and who discovered that I had the business potential. So they encouraged me when there were exhibitions, when there were things that related to the veterinary world, they would call me up, and I was ready to always. So I think that also helped at some point with my experiences. So when I was ready to leave school, I was a better person. So if you can do apprenticeship, please hold. But if you have the opportunity, it's something that would help a whole lot. There is no shame in being an apprentice.
Learning before you
before you start on your own.
Dr. Olatunji, one important thing I also want to say is that to start a business in this country, we know is quite challenging. Aside from the fact that you have to get a business registered under CAC, especially if you're actually going to do products, you want to start, developing products, you have to deal with some regulatory body to seek approval. You have to deal with NAFDAC, you have to be a standard organization in Nigeria, especially if you are actually doing consumables. You want to something people eat. So what has been your experience with, all this regulatory thing?
You want to turn me back to
no. It's part of people learning how this thing is.
If there is anything else after challenging or frustrating, I'll pick that word. There's any other word that can describe that, put challenging and frustrating in a single, I would describe. I would pick that word because I've not found a better word to describe. On my LinkedIn, when I got my NAFDAC number, I said after 2 years of grueling and shedding blood. I shed blood though. Wow. It was not tears again.
Wow.
The regulatory agencies do not make it easy to run a business. It's as if they are out to frustrate you.
Wow.
there's no synergy between the business world and our regulatory agencies. They don't understand that running an enterprise in Nigeria, everything is already is against you.
Everything
is against you. You don't have running your cost of production is automatically high. There's no light, you have to generate your own electricity. Now rent is exorbitant. Your own daily living, inflation is on you can't even imagine the prices you get today is not the price you get tomorrow. So everything is wired to frustrate you. So imagine regulation that should make it easy. We are partners in progress, but they don't see us partners. They see us as I don't understand. They see us like they are wielding the hammer that want to knock you. Because what you should, if you are going to make corrections, if you put your requirement, this is what we need. Everybody would know. Okay, if I don't fit in, then let me wait till I fit in.
Okay.
But you put requirements out, you think you are fitting, you've done all you're supposed to do, and at the end of the day, you find out that those requirements are just a tip of the iceberg. In fact, those requirements are not a quarter of what you would do. That you just started the journey, and you have to start things you didn't even imagine. It takes funds, it takes pain, it takes a whole getting another. I had to be a bit of crazy. I had to get a bit crazy with them because I got frustrated at some point. Okay, now thank God CS is a bit easier to do now. Because of the ease of doing business, you can easily register a business on your own. But NAFDAC, SON, they tell you to do lab tests. Lab tests that I want to do is not in the state where you are.
Okay.
You have to send samples. You want to send samples, instead of them to ask for maybe 3-4 samples, they're asking you for a dozen samples or 2 dozen samples. The lab will not take more than how many grams? So all those samples, where do they end up? It end up somewhere that you don't understand. Even before the result comes out, a lab test that samples result not come in about 6 months, 1 year. But what's the essence what's the essence of all the requirement and all the inspection we've done?
Wow.
If lab test cannot return, you can't get your results in 3 weeks, 4 weeks max, 6 months, 8 months, 1 year. I don't see any reason why they are then. What is this food safety all about? Nothing at the end of the day.
Could it be because of the intensity or the procedure that is actually required to, perfect the test? Is it not because of that it takes longer?
I think Nigerian factor.
Okay, what's Nigerian factor?
If you know your way, you get your results early.
Okay.
But if you refuse to play ball, your results will take as long as you want it to take.
Wow.
Because I had people who submitted way before me because they were ready to play. But later I found out that I had to play. But at that point I was frustrated. I was ready to spend an extra dime. So they can do all they want. When it's ready, we will not disturb ourselves more than necessary. So if all that we keep saying is of the business, Nigerian factor will always coming. I don't be on radio, so I'm trying not to I don't want to accuse agencies. So we all know corruption is deep-rooted in society. You have to know one person. If you know one person, you would likely get things done faster than someone else and all those. So regulatory agencies, I don't think they treat entrepreneurs or businesses as part-time project. They come as if they want to wield hammer and they want to kill you. No, they are not out to encourage us. So I'll plead at this point that they should please they keep making policies up, but the policies don't get to the grassroots. Okay. In Abuja, you keep hearing policies. Okay, now NEPC is making policies, but you don't see those impacts. Even when there's impacts, it's just privileged few. That's okay. Exactly. The information doesn't go round. The knowledge is just a privileged few. So we need to do more. Okay.
Okay, it's quite important because I raise that questions because part of my research is that many people who approach regulatory agencies to register their products or to get approval for their products eventually drop it because of delay that could not be explained, because of some unexplained challenges they put up. Somebody said that they deliberately put up some of these encumbered, blockades to get people frustrated or whatever. But I think is not ideal for the kind of economy we're trying to build, where we are encouraging even most especially the young ones to come into entrepreneurship, and the regulatory agencies are not actually giving enabling environment, enabling process to help them to realize their dreams. I don't think we are serious, when it comes to building a viral economy, if that is the part we are doing. Dr. Olatunji, one of the most important things I also want to find out from you is that we start business. Okay, we start business, and suddenly after 2-3, aside from regulatory thing, aside from the cost of production, which is getting increased every day, we know that to start business and to run business, it's another thing to start, it's another thing to run business. It has been registered, even especially from research, that in Nigeria, hardly will any business survive 5 years. I mean, a new business surviving 5 years. After 5 years, if you're able to survive 5 years, the tendency is that you won't last. But what we have found out is that many businesses hardly go beyond 5 years in Nigeria. I also want to get to know, what are the critical factors that keep business faster in Nigeria? What are the critical factors from your experience? Then hold on, because we're going to go on a short break. When we come back, then you respond to that question. Don't go anywhere. It's still Consumer Voice on Impact Business Radio. Don't go anywhere. We're coming back now.
Àti mọ̀ ọwọ́ epo, àwọn lábòsí ọwọ́ epo, àwọn tẹ́nu yìí ọwọ́ epo, yé ọwọ́ epo, àti mọ̀ ọwọ́ epo, àwọn láròpin ọwọ́ epo, àwọn tẹ́nu yìí ọwọ́ epo. Wọ́n fi scope, wọ́n fi shank wa, lórí WhatsApp wọ́n ti block wa, akí wọn kí wọ́n respond wa, wọ́n fẹ́ kówó lẹ̀, wọ́n fẹ́ sponsor wa, torí nígbà kan mi ní package, kò sí manager, kò manage. Wọ́n ti gbàgbé pé story máa dé, wọ́n tún sọ wípé mi lè rà rẹ̀. Ara range àtúrájú wa gan, ẹ máa sanwó nsìn tẹ́ bá máa rí wa jọ. Ẹrù pa mọ́ yín, a ò mọ̀ yín. Tẹ́ bá gbé mú báwọ́sá, wọ́n máa nà yín. Ṣé bá kọ́ mi ló máa ń di star? Kí ló wá dé tẹ́ máa ń bú mi gbà yẹn tẹ́ máa free star? Ṣé bá kẹ̀dẹ̀ tí wá closing àti pé first ẹ̀dẹ̀kẹ̀dẹ̀ tí wá closing? Ọwọ́ epo, àti mọ̀ yín o, ọwọ́ epo. Ẹ̀yàn lábòsí ọwọ́ epo. Ẹ̀yà tẹ́nu yìí ọwọ́ epo, àti mọ̀ yín ọwọ́ epo. Ẹ̀yà láròpin ọwọ́ epo, ẹ̀yà tẹ́nu yìí ọwọ́ epo. Ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni kí send account number? Mo send yẹ times without number. Àrà là débi tàmárò owó, kí wàá lẹ wúlò ìlú gbogbo. Olówó tí ó ṣàánú ọmọ ìṣètàlíkà, tó bá yọ pé ọ̀yìn làlùbáríkà. Àtòríláyé horizontal vertical, àwọn tó aláwọ̀.
Well, you're welcome back. It's Consumer Voice on Impact Business Radio 92.5 FM. We'll be talking about running and doing business in Nigeria, the challenges that SMEs and entrepreneurs face every now and then. And discussing that topic, we have Dr. Ms. Olatunji in the house, who happen to be the CEO and founder of Mamalak Foods Limited. She is a trained vet doctor as well. Dr. Olatunji, I was asking you that what are the critical factors that keep business faster in Nigeria from your experience?
I think this is the overrate. This has been said over and over again. Funding.
Okay.
Funding is a huge part. At some point in the business, you need to put in funds. If you don't put in the required funds, it would automatically die. Because there's a point where you need to scale up. So if you don't have money to, if you don't have money to invest to scale up, it would crash, because you start running your business, your margins will start reducing, and gradually your financials to be dead. So funding is a very, very important part. And getting funding here, every day there's funds every day, but I don't know, those funds don't circulate. You just see them in the air. They don't get to the hands. Most businesses also have to rely on running loans.
Okay.
Loans would kill the business at some point. It's because initially if you start, you need more.
Okay.
You need more money. So do you now resort to getting more loans?
Okay.
There are grants available, but how many of those grants? Yeah, about maybe 1,000 chasing one grant. It's a game of chance. If you are lucky, if you are not. So funding, then experience also.
Okay.
Your experience would go a long way. For someone who has been running a business, if you ask someone who just started running a business, there's a tendency that you don't understand you can't understand your market like somebody who has run it for 20 years. Understand the market alone can make or mar your business.
Okay.
Apart from your marketing strategies and all that, if you don't understand who you are selling to,
Okay.
or who your service directed to, it could also affect. Then I would also say knowledge of running the business itself. Like I said, when I started running the business, I did not know initially. I did not know they were doing me a favor when they were buying from me. I thought they were buying, I was selling. I did not know it was film trick. So if you don't understand, then pricing too.
Okay.
A tendency to say, your product is high priced. But if you are okay, recently I went out and there's a competitor to one of these pound yam. There's a local competitor.
Okay.
That was one of the major producers, and the man was like, that local competitor should not be selling with the named brand now. That the person has to use, and I have to tell her that, madam, you don't say that. The person the brand has been in the market for a long time. Economies of scale would work in their favor. They can afford to sell at a lower price. The person that is just starting does not have that opportunity of economies of scale. If you don't produce the cost, what you cost you to produce one product may be 2 naira. That person, if you produce 100 products, it's likely you still be at that 2 naira.
Wow. So
if now imagine you producing 2 naira, person producing one product with 2 naira, person producing 100 products with 2 naira, they are not in the same category, of course.
Of course.
So their pricing will be different, because person doing 2 naira for 100 products, by the time he reduces his pricing, it would be 0. How many kobo?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, person that is doing 2 naira for one product is still in naira if he wants to do his pricing. So they are not in the same category. So you cannot expect that someone that starts a business today would have the same pricing with someone who has been in business for a while. So pricing also plays a whole part. And if you don't understand how to do your pricing, you just realize you've been working for years with nothing, because you have to put in your cost of production, all the other associated costs at the end of the day. Then employees too are a factor in killing businesses.
Okay. Yeah.
I would say, it's my opinion, that the most youth nowadays, there are people looking for jobs, but people looking for jobs are not ready to do jobs available.
Okay.
They assume, because maybe they have access to see your financials, and they see you, maybe you are bringing in, maybe your revenue is 100,000 and you are paying maybe 20,000. The idea is, Oga is not treating us fine. How can Oga give us 25? Yeah, they forgot that it's like the Oga is even cannot collect salary from that 100,000 revenue. Because by the time Oga pays all the other costs, there is nothing that remains. The business is running a huge loss. So you're just seeing 100,000. You know that is not 100,000. It doesn't translate into anything meaningful. So if I wouldn't want to work for, yes, I agree, the employers who are devils, I agree. I agree. But employees also do not understand that running a business is not a joke. Typical employee wants to come to your business, still take what they want to take and leave you. Of course, they have nothing to lose. I've had cases like that where people feel, I'm running a business with a loan, but because I could not supervise for some time, the person runs business and down. The person leaves and moves another business.
Wow.
I'm left to sort out my loans, and whether I like it or not, or else I'll be the one they will drag. So you have those kind of incidences. If one employee comes, steals, another one comes, of course the business will die automatically at some point. So all these factors also have their own. Maybe if you have orientation that people in Abuja who are earning, it's not as if businesses are that easy. They are collecting free money. Running a business is not free money. If we then this get rich quick syndrome,
okay,
I think this also affects. Everybody feels once you set up a business, it's easy to set up. Everybody now talks about setting up businesses. Then now schools now do entrepreneurship training and all that. So they make it so easy to set up business. So it looks fine. It's when you get in.
Running it is another thing.
Yeah, setting up is easy. Of course, you can start from your parlor when you sell to egg roll. Then you do this, and you can. Setting up is easy. Running it is something that is a different ballgame that people do not understand. That they need to learn the ropes.
Okay. Yes, learning is quite critical. So we've been talking about running business in Nigeria, especially the challenges that SMEs and entrepreneurs face in delivering value in the marketplace. Dr. Olatunji has actually talked a lot about different dimensions of challenges and setback that entrepreneurs do face. Now, we want to open the line so that you can call in. You want to ask questions, you want to make clarifications. So you can call it. The studio line to call is 0916 1044 7698. 0916 104 7698. You can also call 0811 05 26487. 0811 052 6487. You can also call 090 2809257. 0902 280 9257. You can call in to ask questions or to share your experience as an entrepreneur. Dr. Olatunji, this is quite very, very important because you have actually touched on something that I know quite a lot of businesses are also struggling with right now. But the major thing that, especially those who are running business presently, I mean, I'm not talking about those who just started or those who are just starting. You've been 5-6 years. One of the things they keep talking about is cost of running business. What do you think government should do to make sure the cost of running business goes down, so that all these SMEs can thrive?
Number one, give us light.
Oh, okay. Power.
we need power. We need a power system to function.
Okay.
You can't be dealing with outages. You can't be dealing with diesel, petrol, and all. Generators cannot be like getting adequate power. If you give us power, so many things would automatically align itself. So many things. Okay, now I need equipment. I'm looking at, if I have buy equipment. When you are buying equipment, instead of you to just think of, I want to buy equipment, and once I buy equipment, that's all. Now you're thinking of, if I buy equipment, what generator will I buy that will carry this equipment? An extra cost. It goes back to all of us. While you're looking for a generator, you're also thinking of, is it diesel that will pay me or is it petrol? And an extra cost. Wear and tear. So instead of you just buying one thing, you're having to think of buying so many things. Then our roads. Most of these things that we have to import and get out of the country, we have so many things of them around. But because from the road access from farm to town,
city,
it's terrible. We if these things can be done, then of course you can't say it enough. Access to funds. People have access to funds that are cheaper. Imagine running a business with interest as high as 35%, 40% in a year. How do you want that person to break even? How do you want that person to make a profit? It is still the consumers that will pay. As me, so someone was complaining recently and saying that most of these multinational, most of these products we buy, these everyday FMCG products we buy, that they reduce the quantity, they reduce this thing, and people are complaining that no, they are cheating us. And I was telling the person, well, I won't say they are cheating you. I didn't say they are cheating us. But my own opinion is quite different. If you run a business, you will not. If you run a business in Nigeria, you would understand why they are taking that position. You can't keep increasing. Okay, he said I had to increase my prices, and the uproar I had, my ears. I thought there is either one thing. I, for one, I won't reduce quality. So if I want to reduce quality, you would have to pay the price. It's one of two things. You either reduce the quality or use quantity so you can meet up. People cannot afford these things. If you produce, your machines are already set at a particular number of what they have to produce in a day. So if you don't produce at this thing, you're earning a loss automatically.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. What's the name and where are you calling from, sir?
I am always Primate Shippy.
Oh, Primate. It's good to hear from you again. You're welcome, sir. So let's have your contribution.
Honestly speaking, this morning, you got the right market for the right sale.
Thank you. Kudos to us. Yes, sir.
This woman is fantastic.
Oh.
IBI, thank you again.
Oh, thank you.
This program has been a blessing. I mean, several are listening with me, especially myself.
Oh, wow.
But I think we must not allow this woman to escape without getting from my experience on how do we manage the issue of location, location and SMS, and the issue of draft, and the issue of counterfeit. Those three, how do we manage it with business, and especially SMS? Thank you for what you have done this morning.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Primate Shitu. Primate is a regular caller, as a friend to Consumer Voice. He has questions about location. I mean, if you're citing a business, how does location affect? Because you mentioned something which is very important. Road access. Okay, moving. Probably your produce. Maybe if you're doing something consumable, getting some of those things to where your factory is, and moving from factory to the city. So, one important thing he mentioned, which of course is also very critical, is this location thing. So how do you manage location?
I think initially you would look for where you are producing your scale of production. If you are not doing so much large scale at the moment, location may, for example, right now I'm also funny enough. Right now I'm in the same fix. Now, but with my own reasons I'm itemizing for location is I need light. Generator is an extra wahala for me. So how do I get, what areas can I get where would I get at least regular access, regular electricity supply? Looking for Ibadan, so relatively I can get my supplies.
Okay.
So if I'm not located close to where I can get my supplies, I have to pay more. Also due to economies of scale, I have to pay more. So I can buy supplies from wholesalers and get them delivered. But you're also looking at traffic, your access to market. Is it where you as distributors come and pick from? Can they easily pick from? Is it where you start describing where is your factory? And you start describing and you start saying, is this side one village or inside? When you now take Okada. You're also looking at closeness to a main market. Or a main road.
Okay.
Ease of description. Because
ease of description.
Because you don't want to just ask where are you? And you're not saying
if you get to this place,
you get to your turn right, turn left.
Right.
No.
Ask people.
You're already sealing your doom to some extent for location. So those are some of the factors. Then your machines also. Do they need to? Are there things that can easily carried? Is it a rented apartment? Do you want to build? Do you want? So all these things also there are factors that you need to consider.
Well, Doctor, probably should also raise issue about counterfeits, because I was actually going to ask you about that question, about that issue. We have a lot of imitation. Somebody starts a business and you do a quality product. Within a short period of time, you see thousands or probably hundreds of people, and they are coming up with similar products. Or most of the time, even the most terrible part of it is that they are coming up with products that is substandard. So counterfeit is a major issue that is disturbing SMEs. How have you been able to cope with that, or have you dealt with that?
At the moment, I've not reached that bridge yet. But I was recently at the program, and this question came up, and what the lecturer said was, see, let us not lie to ourselves. We always live together. So it is you that will decide how do I want to make my products unique. That if you grow, it's one of the risks of growth. Okay. As you grow, some people are out there to destroy what they want to do. They have the money, all they want to do is destroy your own handwork. So you will now find how do you want to create a balance. So you have to upgrade your distributor network, maybe give them more incentives.
Okay.
Then now we have people coming up with these apps of things that can help guarantee seal of quality in products. So can also start, because for example if you buy drugs now they'll tell you to scratch the back. There are some companies that provide, you see this number, send a text and all that, so people are beginning to utilize that, but that's extra costs. By the end of the day, I think once then, if your brand, if you are big, people will definitely cash in on your, you have paid the price, so it's like apprentice, people have paid the price, so somebody wants to ride on your own this thing to also profit. So I think we are here to stay together, both normal business and counterfeit businesses. So we'll just start at some point. Your business, of course, you have outsourced a whole lot of things. I think that's where you now start thinking, okay, how do you make myself different? How, for example, if you take, there are some fizzy drinks, so that when you take them, once you taste it, you know this is fake, you know this is original. Once people, once they know your own mark of quality, once they open it, okay, I've bought the wrong one this time around. I bought the right. So I think maybe when you get to that stage, it will help you. People, then when people trust your brand so much, they'll be the ones to also be the police telling people around that, that person, that person is selling fake. They'll be the ones championing your cause at some point. Once they've seen that this product works, and they can give a feedback on your product for you.
Okay, I also think that government agencies should be able to do something, probably eliminating counterfeits product, because too many times some of these counterfeit products actually pose threats to people's health.
Yes,
They've
killed so many people.
Yeah, so I think government should take responsibility towards that too. How can government actually look into the space and find a way to reduce drastically or probably eliminate totally the existence of counterfeit products?
I think we are the government, so if the people who are doing this fake, they are not ghosts. They are not spirits.
Yes.
They are in their locality.
Yeah.
They are in the environment. If we know them and we don't talk, we're also aiding and abetting. So if we know and we go and speak with government agencies, because if they don't have leads, they may likely not be able to follow through. So I think it also comes down to each one of us deciding to do the right thing.
Okay. Deciding
that if I have the opportunity, I would not be a partaker. I would not encourage.
I will not buy.
I will not buy. If you don't buy fake, if you realize this is fake and you don't buy, the person will be forced to buy original at some point. If you don't buy their market, because if it spoils, it's a loss to them. So if you also do not encourage them, but you see most people looking for that fake. it is funny. You see, you see people asking for that fake. So if people are the ones asking for it, of course,
so there's a market for it.
There's a market for it. So of course, so if we decide individually that we will do the right thing, I would encourage these businesses to grow. I'll do my part. Then would be better off for it.
Okay, wonderful, Doctor. At what point would an entrepreneur realize that my business is surviving? At what point? Will it dawn on you?
You will know.
So what are the things you will see?
I have a business that recently died. Before it died, I told them this business is dead. And they're like, you don't have faith as all of you. You have to deceive yourselves. I'm the one running it. I've seen my financials. It's obvious that I've been running a loss for more than a year, back to back. I've seen my financials. It's dead. They said no. We will still see how we can manage it. April beginning of this month, I told them finally my hands are off. It's officially dead and gone. There's nothing, and they've all realized it was dead. So at the point where your business, you will know yourself. At the point where it is surviving, okay, if you are not having, if maybe in a month you're having you have people buying products for you, you're having about 1,000 products being sold out, and you realize maybe in the next 6-8 months you are selling 200, you are selling 100. Of course, you are going to, but you see from 1,000 you are doing 2,000, you are doing 3,000. You have an equipment, you have a machine that could do. Your machine can no longer sustain your growth. Of course, you are growing, and when you are done, you will know. Except you want to see yourself, you want to believe in what is not.
Well, it's also very important that we touch this topic because this issue. We don't really have much time, so but I really want you to find a way around some of the critical things that SMEs keep talking about today. That some of our products that we have here, especially our product, some of them are not meeting the international quality or standard, and that's actually blocking access to international market, especially exporting our products abroad. Because I know if we are able to do maximum local consumption, we're able to meet maximum local consumption, the surplus can actually be exported, which of course would drive any foreign exchange, okay, for us. But the critical issue now is that, do we have what it takes to develop products that will meet global markets?
We have.
Okay, we do have.
We
So
have.
why are we not exploring that? Why are we not getting our products off the ground?
We have. Do we have the potential? We have potential.
Okay.
Are we building that potential?
It's
No, we are
another
not.
thing entirely. Okay. Yeah.
Are we fanning that the embers of our potential to make it a reality? No, we are not. Like I said, light. If we have power, 90% of our problems are solved.
Wow.
We cannot even produce machines that we use for our own businesses.
We have
Okay,
to
if you find out from most multinationals, they bring their machines from outside the country. The people that manage their machines come from outside the country. So if we cannot produce, if we cannot manage what we have ourselves inside, how can we now meet up with outside? We are hardworking. We have the strength, we have the willpower to do all these things. Yes, we want to. In fact, the government agency in charge of exports is doing all it can and encouraging export, but someone said they also brought another government agency to come and pitch that they fund. When that woman got up, she was the one that said the truth. She said, all of you shouting export, it's good though, export though, but have we even finished feeding ourselves?
Yeah. Local
Before you are shouting of export, you've not finished feeding ourselves, you are shouting of export. Then even when we feed ourselves, we are feeding ourselves fake. Is it that fake that I want to take outside? Those people have, then the agencies there, they are not out to crush you per se.
over there.
You are partners in progress.
Okay.
You have your requirements. It's either you fit in or you don't fit in. There is no two way. They've given you what this your company has to be like this. You have to have minimum of employees. You have to have these rooms. You have to have this. It's straight jacketed. It's either you meet it or you don't meet it. There is no in between. In Nigeria, they're giving you your own requirements. It's after you've done that one, when they come, you now realize you just started your journey. It is what, in fact, the total requirement is far different from what was stated to you.
Wow. You
now start with my own, and now start, okay, can I still make it? Can I not? So, when you have all these things in place, so we need to do more to encourage these potentials. We have it, we can do it. But they should help us to help ourselves.
Okay, briefly, in 30 seconds, what's your final advice to entrepreneurs who are bent on surviving against all this odds? Briefly.
If you can, like I said, if you can do an apprenticeship initially, please go for it to learn. If you can, it's a gold mine. If you can learn from somebody, learn from the mistakes, learn from, and yes, to our fellow entrepreneurs, we can do this. Let us keep encouraging ourselves. Encourage ourselves. We would definitely would survive. Nigerians are survivors. Would survive every phase that is, every challenge thrown at us. Would definitely survive. Even on days when you feel you can't, just take a break, breathe in, go for a walk, recreation, relax, and come back and face the challenges. But we survive.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mrs. Olatunji, the CEO and founder of Mamalak Food Limited. Thank you so much. You have actually given us, food this afternoon. It's almost afternoon now. You've given us food, food for thought, really. And all the stakeholders, the regulatory agencies, the entrepreneurs, the government agencies also, I think they take something out of what you have said, and we will improve, the environment of doing business so that business can really thrive. When we call you again, we believe you will come.
Of course.
Thank you very much.
Also.
Yes, on Brand Nugget today, we're going to be talking about brand audit. Quite simple. What's brand audit? One important thing that we should know as a business owner is that, yes, it is good to audit your finances, what we call financial audit. We want to see whether company is doing well financially, so we do financial audit. But something brings finances into the company. Something bring money into the company. That's a brand. That's a product. That's a business. So you need to do brand audit as well if you really want your finances to speak, language of prosperity. Now, there's always a gap between reality and perception. We should know that. Many brand owners fail to connect the gap between what they know about their business brand and actually the reality that is playing out in the marketplace. When a company audits their finances or their financial book, so to speak, the goal is to establish veracity, integrity, accuracy, and accountability of their finances. But the most important thing is this: many companies fail to do what? To audit the most vital business asset, that is their brand. Auditing your brand or service is one of the surest way of building a viral, sustainable brand that would actually continue to yield profit to your business. It's one way. When you audit your product, you want to ascertain the health of your product. You want to diagnose, the health of the product or service that you sell, because they are also live. They have life as a brand. You need to really understand that. Now, the most successful brands don't joke with brand audits. A brand audit is a comprehensive examination of your product or service to discover so many things around that business, around that product, whether it's actually meeting the needs or is exceeding the expectation of consumer, or is falling, in standard, so that you know what to do at every time that you're actually going to sell your business or you're going to sell your product or service. Your brand audit would need to be examined every now and then, and the purpose is to do what? To ensure that whether your product or your service is actually doing well in terms of quality, in terms of presentation, packaging, awareness, recognition, brand memory, and also comparative value and competitive advantage. You also want to find out whether you're doing the pricing right for your product, or you are underpricing, or you are overpricing. You also want to find out your brand audit, customer satisfaction, whether your brand actually enjoy referrals, whether people are advocating for your brand. The idea behind brand audit is to see whether your product or service is actually doing well in the customer perception. They also want to find out whether the market is actually gaining so much value from your product. When you do your brand audits, these are the critical questions you need to really find out. Number one, are you offering the right product or service in the first place? Is there a market for that product or service? Do they really need it? A lot of businesses don't know that they offer product or service that people don't really need. Do you have point of differentiation? In other words, what makes your product unique? What makes your service unique? Because it is that uniqueness that actually stands your brand out. Number three, which is very, very important, that difference, is that uniqueness, okay, is it a competitive advantage? In other words, it doesn't make sense when you have uniqueness or a point of difference that doesn't make meaning to your customers. Your uniqueness should be valuable to the customer. You also want to find out, are you really meeting customer expectation? Are you really meeting their needs? Now, important thing you also need to find out is your product packaging, your brand presentation. Is it in alignment with what customer wants? You also want to find out what competitive advantage do you really have over competing brands. Does your brand enjoy the right level of awareness, recognition, credibility, and recall in the market? Do people really see, that your brand is different and has the recognized identity? Those things are very, very critical. When you begin to ask this question, trust me, you are actually doing the brand audit that will help your business to sustain its value and to gain higher relevance in the marketplace. That's all we have for you on Consumer Voice and Brand Nugget today. My name is Oluyemi Omitola. We're going to catch you next week, the same station, the same time. Bye for now.
News,
analysis,
reports,
and commentaries on the hour.
In your business interest on IBR 92.5 FM.
you're right to know.
It is midday. Good afternoon. Here is the world news at a glance on Impact Business Radio, Ibr92.5 FM, Ibadan. First, the headlines. Buhari calls for support among Commonwealth nations. Court orders Code of Conduct Tribunal chairman to appear before the Senate. Petrol subsidy payment unsustainable, says former NNPC official. On the foreign scene, Zelensky vows Russia will never succeed in war against Ukraine. Now the news in details. I am Anwuluwapo Omoride. President Muhammadu Buhari has urged Commonwealth member countries to work closely on defense information sharing and mutually support each other in the fight against global terrorism, which is said now centers on Africa. He argued that despite assertions from various quarters, it is impossible for member nations to work in tandem because they belong to various regional blocs with different interests along trade and security. This is contained in an opinion piece ahead of this year's Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, which we hold in Kigali, Rwanda, from June 28th to June 26th, 2022. Suggesting areas of emphasis ahead of the week-long meeting, Buhari advised that the Commonwealth should widen its scope of vision and consider the far-reaching, long-term consequences of Brexit on its member states. The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has ordered the chairman of the Code of Conduct Tribunal, Danladi Umar, to appear before the Senate. In his ruling today, Justice Inyang Ekwe said the order is to allow Umar face his probe over alleged public misconduct. The judge held that Umar is answerable to the Senate on moral standards and conduct as a public officer administering the law. Justice Ekwe also stated that Umar's suit seeking to stop his probe by the Senate lacked merit and was consequently dismissed. It will be recalled that the Senate had asked the Federal High Court in Abuja to dismiss a suit filed by Umar seeking to stop his probe for alleged misconduct. And away from that, the clamor for a fair play for women in politics and equal participation has again gained momentum. This comes on the heels of a statement by the First Lady Aisha Buhari, who urged candidates contesting elections into various positions across the country to always consider women as their running mate. Correspondent Taiwo Olanrewaju has more in this report.
The clamor for a fair play for women in politics and equal participation has again gained momentum. This is coming after the First Lady Aisha Buhari urged candidates contesting elections into various positions across the country to always consider women as their running mates. Lending his view on the matter, a political analyst, Sumbo Badijoko, commended the First Lady for the gesture. He noted that women are of utmost importance in every sphere of the society, considering their voting strength and active involvement in political processes.
It would be a welcome development to see the major political parties, especially. That's what she's trying to achieve, because we've had females on the ballot before. But the major political parties have not thought it right to present a female either candidate or running mate. That's why she had to make that call. And having been one of the major defender of gender equality, I think what she has said is not something that is strange to people like us. Even to those whom she has addressed to, it's not something that's strange to them. So it's a welcome development.
Badijoko also blamed the low participation of women in politics on the lack of organization among women and the inferiority complex amongst others. He urged women to organize themselves and actively participate in politics.
Lack of organization among the women folks, and I would say inferiority complex on their part. When I say lack of organization, if you do head count as regards those who are members of political organizations, you have more females than males. But they would rather limit themselves to dancing at party rallies, singing shower and comium on the male folks, rather than being active players. Then, of course, I narrow it down to inferiority complex. Some of them feel they cannot cope with, contend with the male folks, and that is not good enough. Then the other factor will be that the proponents of gender equalities themselves are not partisan enough. They rather play activist role than being active players in political platform. They should rather organize themselves, mobilize themselves in mass, join the political platform.
On the contrary, a social commentator, Thomas Kolawole, faulted the move, saying most women have nothing to offer. Kolawole maintained that choosing women as running mates is not the solution to the nation's dwindling economy. He further revealed that Nigeria is not yet matured for women participation in politics.
I don't see any sense in what he's saying, because what is our own contribution? Is it because they was for president by accident? And that one now having to is now fighting for women. It means they have nothing to offer. There's a lot of problem rather than to canvassing for women as a vice president now. It's not the solution to Nigeria economy. Or is it the solution to the Nigeria economy or security? So if they have nothing to offer, they should go and settle.
Kolawole, however, called for an end in ethnicity and religious crises, even as he urged everyone to play their role in politics without bitterness.
It's not canvassing for a woman that is way forward. The way forward is that we are not yet mature politically. Until the problem of ethnicity is resolved in Nigeria, then we can say there is a way forward. It's not a man, other man or woman. It's a issue of ethnicity problem and religion.
Taiwo Olanrewaju, Impact Business Radio News.
A former executive director of corporate planning and strategy of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) Tim Okon has said that the growing amount of money needed to pay for petrol subsidy that will see the federal government spend 4 trillion naira in 2022 is unsustainable. Okon, who spoke during a televised interview, said the high cost of crude oil and huge smuggling activities has made Nigeria the sole supplier of petrol to neighboring countries. It will be recalled that the federal government has so far spent 396.7 billion naira on petrol subsidy in the first 2 months of 2022, after spending over 1 trillion naira in year 2021. It has also received approval from the National Assembly to spend 4 trillion naira on subsidies in 2022. Okon pointed out that the situation has become dire since the government had to borrow money to pay for the subsidy, increasing the budget deficit in the process. And on the foreign scene, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has vowed that Russia will never succeed in its war against Ukraine. Zelensky recounted that in 2 months, Russian armed forces had used more than 1,100 rockets, countless aerial bombs, and artillery against Ukraine. The Ukrainian president assured that Russia has achieved nothing and we achieved nothing, adding that the Russian units had not received support from the eastern part of the world. Still on the foreign scene, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has made a defiant speech at a military parade vowing to ramp up the country's nuclear arsenal. The parade, which was held to mark the armed forces' founding anniversary, also displayed banned intercontinental ballistic missiles. It will be recalled that in March, North Korea tested its largest known intercontinental ballistic missiles for the first time since 2017. It will also be recalled that the United States also imposed several sanctions on the country after the test banned intercontinental ballistic missiles designed for nuclear arms delivery extend North Korea's strike range as far as the United States mainland. The parade also featured submarine-launched ballistic missiles in addition to hypersonic missiles. And to end the news, another look at some of the major items. Buhari calls for support among Commonwealth of Nations. Court orders Code of Conduct Tribunal chairman to appear before the Senate. Former NNPC official says petrol subsidy payment is unsustainable. And on the foreign scene, we told you that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has vowed that Russia will never succeed in its war against Ukraine. The news was produced and edited by Feromi Akimbote. I am Uluwakpo Omoride. Many thanks for listening. Good afternoon.
News,
Analysis
reports,
and commentaries on the hour.
In your business interest on IDR 92.5 FM.
your right to know.
We are black. We are Impact Business Radio 92.5FM. The only business radio in Southwest Nigeria. Don't touch that dial.
Amutajero, IBR 92.5 FM, Ibadan. Amutajero, IBR 92.5 FM, Ibadan.
láti lè ṣe rédíò Amutajero 92.5 FM aago méjìlá ó ti kọjá ìṣẹ́jú mẹ́wàá ìròyìn àgbáyé lérèfé lóńdé sétìgbọ̀ yín ṣáájú ẹgbẹ́ àwọn kókó tó wà nínú ìròyìn ọ̀hún. Buhari ti pè fún ìfọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ láàrin àwọn orílẹ̀-èdè adúláwọ̀ tó ní àjọṣepọ̀ kan náà pẹ̀lú ọrọ̀ ajé. Ilé-ẹjọ́ ti pàṣẹ fún alága tó ń rí sọ̀rọ̀ awuyewuye tó súyọ lẹ́yìn ètò ìdìbò láti farahàn níwájú ilé-ìgbìmọ̀ asòfin àgbà ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà. Ọ̀gá àgbà kan níléeṣẹ́ elépo àgbà ilẹ̀ wa ti ní ìdákúrekú àti máa san owó lórí ọ̀rọ̀ owó ìrànwọ́ epo bẹntiró òun náà ló ń ṣàtọ́nà ọ̀gọ̀rọ̀ ìṣòro nílẹ̀ òkèèrè. Zelensky ló ti jáwé olúborí gẹ́gẹ́ bó ti fọwọ́ sọ̀yà wípé orílẹ̀-èdè Russia òun náà ni kò ní jàjà ṣẹ́gun nínú fàákàjà tó ń wáyé láàrin orílẹ̀-èdè Ukraine. ìròyìn ọ̀hún rèé lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́ Olúbímpé Fátóyè ló níròyìn yẹn. Ààrẹ Muhammadu Buhari ló ti pàrọwà sí àwọn orílẹ̀-èdè tí wọ́n jọ ní ọrọ̀ ajé kan náà léyìí tó fi bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní jẹ́ kó di mímọ̀ sí wọn wípé kí wọ́n ṣiṣẹ́ papọ̀ láti lè rí wípé ohun gbogbo náà ló lọ ní ìrọwọ́ ìrọsẹ̀ pàápàá jùlọ láti lè rí wípé wọ́n gbójú agan sí ìṣòro tó ń kojú gbogbo àgbáyé pàápàá jùlọ lórí ìṣòro àwọn agbésùnmọ̀mí eléyìí tó ti di tọrọ fọ́nkálẹ̀ láàrin gbogbo tó jẹ́ ti ilẹ̀ adúláwọ̀. Nínú ọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀ sọ̀wọ́ wájú sẹ́ ló ti tẹ̀ pilẹ̀ mọ́ wípé ó rọrùn fún gbogbo àwọn àjọ orílẹ̀-èdè ọ̀hún níwọ̀n bá gbà tí wọ́n bá jọ ṣiṣẹ́ papọ̀ léyìí tí yóò sì fún wọn láǹfààní láti lè jáwé olúborí pẹ̀lú àwọn iṣẹ́ tó láàmìlàkà. Nínú àtẹ̀jáde léyìí tó fi ń fi àríwòye rẹ̀ síta ṣáájú ìpàdé gbogbogbò eléyìí tí àwọn ẹni ọ̀rọ̀ kan tí wọ́n ti jọ ṣe nínú eléyìí tí yóò wáyé ní Kigali ìyẹn ní orílẹ̀-èdè Rwanda bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti 20 oṣù kẹfà títí di ọjọ́ 26 oṣù kẹfà ọdún 2022 gẹ́gẹ́ bí àríwòye ààrẹ Muhammadu Buhari níbàámu pẹ̀lú àmọ̀ràn rẹ̀ tó fẹ́ síta ló tọ́ka sí wípé fàákàjà eléyìí tó ń kojú àwọn orílẹ̀-èdè kọ̀ọ̀kan nílẹ̀ yìí tó fi parapọ̀ pẹ̀lú àwọn àjọ ìṣọ̀kan orílẹ̀-èdè tí wọ́n jọ ní ọrọ̀ ajé kan náà òun ló jẹ́ eléyìí tí kálukú tí wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ lé lórí kí wọ́n bá lè wá ojútùú sírúfẹ́ ìṣòro ọ̀hún. Ilé-ẹjọ́ gíga ìjọba àpapọ̀ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà tó ń jókòó nílùú Àbújá ló ti pàṣẹ fún ẹni tó jẹ́ alága ìyọ̀n tó ń rí sí awuyewuye tó súyọ lẹ́yìn ètò ìdìbò Danladi Umar wípé kó lọ rèé farahàn níwájú ilé ìgbìmọ̀ aṣòfin àgbà nínú ìdájọ́ tó gbé kalẹ̀ lónìí yan adájọ́ Nyankego ló jẹ́ kó di mímọ̀ wípé àṣẹ ọ̀hún náà ni yóò fún láǹfààní láti lè kojú àwọn ẹ̀sùn tí wọ́n fi kàn án kó sì lè wẹ̀ kó yán kàìnkàìn látàrí àwọn ìka kùtọ́ tí wọ́n náà ṣe. Adájọ́ ọ̀hún ló ṣàlàyé ọ̀rọ̀ wípé Umar òun ló ní ẹjọ́ jẹ́ níwájú ilé ìgbìmọ̀ aṣòfin àgbà látàrí àwọn ìwà kùtọ́ kan. Adájọ́ ẹ̀kọ́ nínú àríwòye tó fi síta bó tilẹ̀ jẹ́ wípé ẹni tí wọ́n fi ẹ̀sùn kàn náà ló pàṣẹ wípé kí wọ́n dá ilé ìgbìmọ̀ aṣòfin àgbà lọ́wọ́ kọ́ láti tọpinpin ìbéèrè lórí ẹ̀sùn tí wọ́n fi kàn òun nítorí pé ilé ìgbìmọ̀ aṣòfin àgbà náà ni ò láṣẹ láti mọ béèrè àwọn ìbéèrè kan tàbí bíi méjì lọ́wọ́ rẹ̀. Tá a bá gbàgbé wípé ilé ìgbìmọ̀ aṣòfin àgbà náà ló ké sí ilé ẹjọ́ gíga ìjọba àpapọ̀ ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà tó wà nílùú Àbújá láti dá ẹjọ́ Umar kí wọ́n dànù lórí ẹ̀sùn tí wọ́n fi kàn án. ìròyìn àgbáyé lérèfé lẹ́ńtẹ́tì gbọ́ láti lè ṣe rédíò Amutajero 92.5 FM. ọ̀gá àgbà kan níléeṣẹ́ iléepo àgbà ilẹ̀ wa tẹ́lẹ̀ rí níbàámu pẹ̀lú ìlànà ààtò àti ṣíṣàmúlò ọgbọ́n àtinúdá Tim Okon ló ti ṣàlàyé ọ̀rọ̀ wípé owó sísan aládé ìpele eléyìí tí ìjọba àpapọ̀ ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà tó ń san náà ló ṣàtọ́nà gẹ́gẹ́ bí wọ́n ti fẹ́ ṣàmúlò tírílíọ̀nù 4 náírà ìyàn lọ́dún 2022 gẹ́gẹ́ bí owó ìrànwọ́ orí epo bẹntiró. Okon tó ṣàlàyé ọ̀rọ̀ nínú ìfọ̀rọ̀wánilẹ́nuwò kan tí wọ́n ṣe fún un lórí iléeṣẹ́ móhùnmáwòrán kan ó tọ́ka sí wípé ìgbẹnusókè ohun tí wọ́n fi ń pèsè epo rọ̀bì nílẹ̀ yìí àtàwọn ohun tó ń já sí ṣàmúlò láti fi lè kó wá sí orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà tó fi mọ́ àwọn orílẹ̀-èdè alámúlétè ló ti gbẹnusókè. tá a bá gbàgbé wípé ìjọba àpapọ̀ ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà ló ti ná owó tó tó bíi bílíọ̀nù ní irinwó ó dín bíi ẹ̀sùn 18 náírà lórí owó ìrànwọ́ epo bẹntiró ìyẹn ní ìdá méjì oṣù àkọ́kọ́ lọ́dún 2022. lẹ́yìn náà ni ìròyìn fìdí rẹ̀ múlẹ̀ wípé wọ́n tún ná tírílíọ̀nù kan náírà lọ́dún 2021. gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìròyìn bó ti tọ́ka sí wípé níṣẹ́ náà ní ilé ìgbìmọ̀ asòfin àgbà ló tún fọwọ́ jàn án lóǹtẹ̀ wípé kí wọ́n ná tírílíọ̀nù 4 náírà lórí owó ìrànwọ́ epo bẹntiró fún tọdún 2022. nílẹ̀ òkèèrè ààrẹ orílẹ̀-èdè Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky ló ti fọwọ́ ìdánilójú rẹ̀ sọ̀yà wípé orílẹ̀-èdè Russia òun náà ni kò ní jàjàgbáyé nínú ogun eléyìí tó ń wáyé láàrin àti orílẹ̀-èdè Ukraine. gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìròyìn bó ti ṣàlàyé ọ̀rọ̀ wípé fàákàjọ òun náà ló ti ń lọ láàrin bí oṣù bíi méjì sásìkò tá a wà yìí tó sì jẹ́ wípé ìrọ́kẹ̀kẹ̀ ogun òun náà ni kò tí ì rọlẹ̀ láwọn orílẹ̀-èdè náà. ìròyìn àgbáyé wa lérèfé kò ní jù bá ń lọ lásìkò tá a wà kí n tó máa lọ àwọn kókó tó jẹyọ nínú ìròyìn ọ̀hún rèé lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí i. ààrẹ Muhammadu Buhari ló ti pè fún ìfọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ láàrin àwọn orílẹ̀-èdè adúláwọ̀ tí wọ́n ní ọrọ̀ ajé kan náà. ilé ẹjọ́ ló ti pàṣẹ fún ẹni tó jẹ́ alága tó ń rí sí awuyewuye tó súyọ lẹ́yìn ètò ìdìbò láti farahàn níwájú ilé ìgbìmọ̀ asòfin àgbà ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà. ọ̀gá àgbà tẹ́lẹ̀ kan rí nílé iṣẹ́ iléepo àgbà ilẹ̀ wa ló ti ní owó sísan aládìpele náà ló ṣàtọ́nà àti máa ná òbítíbitì owó lórí ọ̀rọ̀ epo owó ìrànwọ́ orí epo bẹntiró. nílẹ̀ òkèèrè Zelensky ló ti fọwọ́ ìdánilójú rẹ̀ sọ̀yà wípé orílẹ̀-èdè Russia ó náà ni kò ní jàjàgbáyé pẹ̀lú ogun tó ń wáyé tako ilẹ̀ Ukraine. Fẹ́rànmi Akíbọ̀tẹ́ ló ṣàkójọpọ̀ ìròyìn Olúbímpé Fátóyè lóòkọ̀ mi ẹ̀ ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ tí ń tẹ́tí gbọ́ wa.
rédíò tó mi lẹ̀rẹ́ o.
Amutajero.
ètò lọ́lọ́kan òòjọ̀kan.
Amutajero.
kò sí ohun tó lè dùn tó yín.
Amutajero.
ìyẹn wọ́n kà mọ́ o.
Amutajero.
ẹgbẹ́ polówó ọjà wá o.
Amutajero.
kájé wọ́n gbá ọjà rẹpẹtẹ.
Amutajero.
ètò ọlọ́run lèyí o.
Amutajero.
ẹ wá bá wa kájọ ṣọ̀rẹ́ ajé.
Amutajero.
IBR Amutajero 92.5 FM.
Amutajero.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni iṣẹ́ òríran kálukú ni kó máa ṣe torí pé wọ́n ní ìsàlẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ ó lẹ́gbìn bẹ́ẹ̀ ni kò sí iyèméjì ń bẹ ṣùgbọ́n síwájú ohun gbogbo adúgbò lọ́wọ́ ọlọ́run ọba ẹlẹ́dàá wa tó tún ṣe wà kù láti àyà àná títí dọjọ́ tìní ọlọ́run àbá dúpẹ́ òdánsáàkì rẹ títóbi rẹ IBK ọlọ́sàn ọkùnrin inú kúlì àjọ mú nǹkan lẹ̀ ẹ̀dá kò burú. nígbà tá a kí ọlọ́run ọba tó ṣẹwà kù tó dára padà sórí ètò lọ́jọ́ tìní náà là ń kí àwọn ọ̀gá ní ìgbẹ́nu àṣẹ kọ̀ọ̀kan nílé iṣẹ́ rédíò tá a wá yìí ìkànnì Amutajero Ibr92.5FM kò ní sùn yín kò ní rẹ̀ yín ẹ̀ ní sí nǹkan ṣe á kí olóòtú ètò yìí bákan náà la kí àwọn ọmọ ojú ẹ̀rọ wa IBK ló wà ní ẹ̀rọ tí ọ̀ràn bá fa sókè fà sílẹ̀ bákan náà olùsọ̀lá àjàó òun ló wà nídìí Facebook tó yẹ pé bẹ́ẹ̀ sì máa wà kétékété nínú yàrá agbára òun ló wà níbẹ̀ ẹ máa sáré tètè lọ sí ojú àgbọ̀n ọbẹ̀ yẹn lọ tẹ̀ sí Ibr92.5FM Ìbàdàn Ibr92.5FM Ìbàdàn bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ti débẹ̀ ṣe ni ẹ láìkì kẹ́ share ẹ̀ dẹ̀ comment yóò mọ̀ ju wá sí lánàá lórí ètò iṣẹ́ lówó yìí a pe ọ̀rọ̀ òun ní ọ̀wẹ̀ lánàá ó ní àrónú o torí pé nígbà tá a parí ètò lánàá ṣé mo máa ń sọ fún yín pé àwọn silence listener wọ́n pọ̀ ju àwọn tí máa pè lọ torí pé ìpè tá a gbà ní ẹ̀yìn ètò kódà afẹ́ ló sú wa lórí ọ̀rọ̀ iṣẹ́ irú ṣíṣe àti títà rẹ̀ àwọn àǹfààní tó ń bẹ ń bẹ àwọn ìdíwọ́ tó ń bẹ ń bẹ àwọn àléébù tí ń bẹ ń bẹ gbogbo ẹ̀ lọ́kan àtèjì ṣe làwọn èèyàn ń pè ìyá àtàwọn irú ni bọ̀dá àwọn àǹtí àwọn kálukú sàsọ tiẹ̀ lánàá ṣùgbọ́n kí la fẹ́ fàyọ́ ń bẹ̀ náà ni wípé a ti fi sínú ètò wa bí a ṣe rí ẹ̀jẹ̀ pé ògúnnágbòǹgbò ti dátọ́ lẹ́nu ògbìn nínú ká ṣe èròjà ṣebẹ̀ yìí ká sì ta ká sọ dowó báwọn ṣe ń fi ṣiṣẹ́ ṣe tó fi di iṣẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ tiwọn tíṣẹ́ fi dowó ń bẹ̀ wọ́n bọ̀ wá ṣàlàyé fún wa lórí ètò lọ́jọ́ tèmi ń bo ni à ń lọ lórí ètò iṣẹ́ lówó kí ni tí a mú pọ̀n léni o mọ̀ ń bọ̀ yín nǹkan gbatẹ́gùn díẹ̀ náà kí n wá padà wá kí n já yín sí àbí kí n já sí yín ẹnu ni ti já sí yín àbí létí ẹnu ẹ ti gbàgbé pààwẹ̀ wà ẹ̀rọ kò burú orúkọ tèmi ò yípadà ajáde mọ́ta nílé yín your cyclo style on radio Saheed Akin ojúmọ̀wá tí òjòjú ẹnìkan ẹkùn tí wọlé èèyàn tí èèpọ̀ mọ̀jẹ ẹkùn pọ́psí òkìkí ọlá ẹ̀ lẹ́bẹ̀rún ẹ̀kọ́ kalẹ̀.
ènìyàn bí ìyá òsíta ló jẹ́ fọ́mọ ọlọ́mọ lẹ́kọ́ péyàn bá dákẹ́ ta rẹ̀ á bá dákẹ́ ṣùgbọ́n ojú kòkòrò ni ò dáa ẹ bá ṣiṣẹ́ lébìrà owó lówó ń jẹ́ nọ́mbà kan yàtọ̀ sí kan. bàbá wo sàlẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ wo ó lẹ́gbẹ́. orí kì í bá ti jí òwúrọ̀ máa kúnlẹ̀ máa yá gbàdúrà máa máa kọrin sẹ́ẹ̀dì máa rẹ̀ wípé.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni owó lowó ń jẹ́ torí pé wọ́n ní owó ọ̀gá kan kì í rùn béèyàn bá ń ṣiṣẹ́ kò sí bí ìdọ̀tí ṣe lè wà ní ara iṣẹ́ téèyàn ń ṣe tó ìyẹn ò sọ fún wa wípé owó téèyàn ò rí níbẹ̀ pé owó ìdọ̀tí ni àbí owó náà kò ní í ṣe é ná irọ́ ni pé èèyàn ṣiṣẹ́ ìdọ̀tí jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ tówó bá ti wọlé èèyàn ti gbàgbé pé bóyá iṣẹ́ kan lòun ṣe even kéèyàn ṣiṣẹ́ kárọ̀ ó ro jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ kárọ̀ ó wò kalẹ̀ wògowògo nígbà tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ yìí lọ́wọ́ tówó bá ti lè wọlé ẹ wò kí á lọ́gán báyìí léèyàn gbàgbé gbogbo ìdààmú wàhálà tó kojú torí pé owó dùn ún ná iṣẹ́ ni ò dùn ún ṣe iṣẹ́ sì rèé àdáṣe ni bówó rẹ̀ bá délẹ̀ tán onú òtún ṣe é dáná kọ́lọ́run ó ṣàánú owó náà òtún ṣe é dáná wọ́n ní iṣẹ́ ló ṣe é dá ṣe owó ò ṣe é dáná. wọ́n ń lọ sí ìdí iṣẹ́ kan ní ọjọ́ tèmi nígbà wáṣẹ̀ àbí nígbà tí a gbọ́njú níta mọ nǹkan mọ́ iṣẹ́ náà mọ̀ ni pé bíi fàájì bíi ìdárayá bíi ká fi ṣe kóríyá fáwọn èèyàn lélẹ́yìí tó jẹ́ pé ọ̀pọ̀ tí ò fi ṣiṣẹ́ ṣe gan-an ọ̀pọ̀ tí ò fi ṣiṣẹ́ ṣe bí ìgbè èèyàn fi mọ́ rẹmọtẹ́ gan-an rẹmọtẹ́ wọn pè ní arẹmọtẹ́ ẹ rí i pé ní ọ̀pọ̀ ọ̀gbà ní ayé ìgbà tá a bára wa yìí bí èèyàn bá dá ìnáwó kan sílẹ̀ tó bá pe olórin lára tó gbajúgbajà nínú ìṣe àbí iṣẹ́ olórin tí wọ́n ń ṣe mọ́ṣẹ́ wọn ó ní kí wọ́n ó kí ẹni tó pè wọ́n sóde tàbí kí wọ́n ó kí àwọn èèyàn pàtàkì pàtàkì tó ń bẹ níbẹ̀ àwọn gbajúmọ̀ àwọn báàrí àjọ òkun kan kì wọ́n kórí wọn wú ṣé wọ́n ní orí ọmọ àlè ní èéwú ẹ̀yọ́ ọmọ àlè tẹ́ bá ń bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ má bínú o sọmọ àlè àti ẹ̀mọ́ àwọn ìyọjú ìta gbangba wọ́n á kì wọ́n orí wọn ó sì wú. ẹ rí i pé bí ìyàwó àti ọkọ bá jà nínú ilé tó bá jẹ́ pé ìyàwó ló ní bùkátà sí kó bẹ ọkọ nígbà míì tó bá bẹ́ẹ̀ lóhùn sán pọ́nná tí ọba gbọ́ tó bá jẹ́ ọkọ tó màṣà tó mọ oríkì torí rẹ̀ a máa wú tíyàwó rẹ̀ bá ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ tó bá lè mọ oríkì ìdílé ọkọ rẹ̀ àbóríkì rẹ̀ gangan tó bá sá lóríkì rẹ̀ báyìí orí aláyé náà wà á wúwá ó ti mọ tó fi máa mú mi kẹ́nẹ́ kan yóò sì gbọ́ pápá jùlọ àwọn ọmọ tí à ń bí ní ọmọ tí ẹ bá tẹ oríkì rẹ̀ mọ́ lára láti kékeré tó ti di ẹran jẹ ìdílé tiwọn tí wọ́n lóríkì tí wọ́n sì ní àpèdáhùn oríkì wọn tí wọ́n bá dárúkọ wọ́n mọ̀ páwọn náà ń bá wí tí wọ́n bá kí ọmọ míì ẹ rí i pé tó bá ń bínú àbó bá ń sunkún ọmọ náà ó sì mọ mámi kàn túpe lọ́gán ni ó sì dákẹ́ ṣùgbọ́n ní ayé ìsìn ìta padà rí ni wípé bó ṣe jẹ́ kí oríkì nínú ìṣe àwọn onílù àwọn olórin ńlá tí máa ń bá wọ́n mọ̀ kìyàn béèyàn bá wojú agbo ṣùgbọ́n a rí wípé wọ́n tún ti yá o ó tún ti wá dá dúró bí iṣẹ́ kan gédéǹgbé tó jẹ́ pé àwọn kan iṣẹ́ tí wọ́n ní oríkì kíkì chanting tẹ́pẹ́ tí wọ́n bá ń kí ìpọ̀rí ẹlòmíì báyìí oh my god bí olówó yóò sì lọ ya àsọtẹ́ni orí rẹ̀ ewu o sẹ́mu pé wọ́n ní orí ọ̀lẹ ni ewu aláṣàánú mi lẹ́nu tẹ́ ẹ bá wá lọ káàkiri bẹ́ẹ̀ bá lọ sí àwọn òde agbo pàápàá jùlọ àwọn òde tó bá ní í ṣe pẹ̀lú ìbílẹ̀ ẹ bá àwọn olóríkì ń bẹ̀ gédéǹgbé yàtọ̀ sónílù nígbà tó yá kó tó lè bá a dùn kó lè bá a dùn kó lè fẹjú sí i ó di pé àwọn náà tún máa kó onílù tiwọn rìn lọ́tọ̀ tó nílù wọn bá ti ń bá wọn gbà sí i pàápàá jùlọ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ bí àwọn oníbàtà wọ́n tún kó wọn sẹ́yìn dírọ́dírọ́ pápá tó kán gbàngbàngbàn ọmọ kìnínní kan ọmọ làkàṣègbè wọ́n mọ̀ kí wọ́n lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ lẹ́ni tí ẹ ń kì torí tiẹ̀ náà ń wú tí ẹ ń gún lábẹ́rẹ́ abẹ́rẹ́ oríkì lónú ọmọ náwó láyé òde ìsìn ẹ rí i pé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ tí wọ́n bá fẹ́ ṣe ọjọ́ ìbí ó ti di dandan báyìí ẹ rí i pé olóríkì ọ̀ wà lọ́tọ̀ wọn ni wọ́n ń ṣe surprise ẹni ẹlẹ́ni tí ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ń jí bọ̀ tó ti ṣiṣẹ́ tó ti rẹ̀ látànà ó lè jẹ́ ìyàwó rẹ̀ ní ọ̀dọ́gbọ́n lọ bá wọn yẹn ẹ wò ó ọkọ mi ọ̀la lọ́jọ́ ìbí rẹ o kèé kankan kú o bó ṣe wà wọn lè ti gbàgbé pọ̀la ni ọjọ́ ìbí òun ṣé gbogbo èèyàn ní ọjọ́ èmi wọ́n sì máa rán mi létí ni my daddy ìjọba èmi àmọ́ àwọn tá a lọ nínú ayé rẹ̀ ni ọlọ́run ṣàánú ara àwọn èèyàn bẹ́ẹ̀ náà o tẹ́ pé èèyàn rántí ọjọ́ ìbí wọn tí ó fi kọ́la ẹnìkan ti náwó ń bí á bèrè tí wọ́n fà lọ́wọ́ àwọn èèyàn náà lẹ́nu tẹ́ pé irú ìyàwó bẹ́ẹ̀ yóò wá lọ bá àwọn tí ó ń fi nǹkan ìṣiṣẹ́ ṣe ẹ wo ẹ wàá bá ń kí ọkọ mi ń dàjí yóò ti gbàgbé kọ́ mọ̀ àwa náà ò fún lára ẹ kó lu ẹ kó tìlù ti fún ẹ máa bọ̀ wọ́n ti wá àkàrà òyìnbó gbogbo ẹ̀ gbogbo blomblom ebi àṣà àwọn ẹnìkan wọn ní blomblom wọ́n fọ́n gbogbo ẹ̀ wọ́n bá sì dé nígbà bá dára wọn. kíní kan bẹ́ẹ̀ ń lé ní àbúròde ọmọ kíní kan lójú oorun lọ́ọ̀ ní oṣù nǹkan dé ẹni ẹlẹ́ni bóyá tó wẹ́ẹ̀nù lọ́sán mọ́dí sùn yóò ṣe mọ́ rábàbà mú ìlàbìrù kan tí èèbó tán iṣẹ́ tiwọn nìyẹn. ọ̀pọ̀ òde láti ìjọ máa ń pàdé táwa bá lọ ṣe MC táwa bá lọ tukọ̀ ètò lójú agbo tí wọn ó sì fún wọn ní ààyè tiwọn tí wọn ó fi ṣiṣẹ́ wọn ìgbà wo ni nǹkan yìí diṣẹ́ kódà ọ̀pọ̀ nínú wọn la mọ̀ pé wọ́n máa ń ṣe àwo rẹ́kọ́ọ̀dù jáde báyìí bí díìskì sì ni wọ́n ó ṣe jáde ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ló gba orí ẹ̀rọ ayélujára íńtánẹ́ẹ̀tì wọ́n gbabẹ̀ kan lọ́kan ọ̀jọ̀kan tí wọ́n ń fi àwọn iṣẹ́ wọn tí wọ́n ń fi wọ́n ṣe lọ́jọ́ síbẹ̀ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ní sì ń bá wọn rà á ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ní ń bá wọn gbọ́ látàrí ibẹ̀ wọ́n á pe ẹlòmíì ṣiṣẹ́ ó ti diṣẹ́ àmọ́ bí ó ṣe mo tiẹ̀ ti ní ẹni tó yẹ pé ní fi ṣiṣẹ́ ṣe òun á wà sórí ètò yìí mo kàn fẹ́ kọ́kọ́ mo fẹ́ pàjùbà ọ̀rọ̀ náà lọ́jọ́ tìní ni iṣẹ́ orí kìkìkì aláwọn gbajúgbajà tá a mọ̀ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá láwọn tó jẹ́ bàbá tó jẹ́ ìyá fún wa tá a mọ̀ pé iṣẹ́ yìí làwọn fi ń ṣiṣẹ́ ṣe ẹ kàn sọ ọmọ ìdílé tẹ́ ẹ jẹ́ ẹ pẹ́ ẹ̀fẹ́ tó bẹ́ẹ̀ tí wọ́n sì dàgẹ̀rẹ̀ bolẹ̀ tí wọ́n sì máa já wọ́n máa fi kàn án ní oríkì ìdílé yín níbi tẹ́yìn gan ọ̀mọ́dé bẹ́ẹ̀ bí wọ́n lẹ́yìn ọ̀mọ̀dílé yín ọ̀dà kò burú ẹ kẹ̀jẹ́ wọn mọ̀lú tẹ́ ẹ ti wá lẹ́ẹ̀bá pẹ́ ràn wọn tó bẹ́ẹ̀ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ gan ò tún mọ ìlú tó ti kò mójúléjà á ní mo sámọ̀ pé mọ́mì mi ìlú báyìí ni wọ́n pera wọn dádì náà máa ń sọ pé ìlú báyìí làwọn ìfún ẹnu mọ́mì gan la ti gbọ́ pé ìlú báyìí ni dádì làwọn yẹn ò ní ẹ mọ́ wọ́ọ̀rì sọ́nà àbí ẹ ti wá nù kò burú wọ́n sì kì wọ́n wọ gbogbo bẹ̀ gbogbo kọ̀rọ̀kọ́ndún tó rọ̀ mọ́ abalabi tí ẹ láwọn ti wá ìgbà wo ni nǹkan yìí di iṣẹ́ àwọn ọ̀làjú wo ló bá iṣẹ́ ká máa kìyàn ara rẹ̀ náà ni wọ́n máa pẹ̀sà tẹ máwọn oníjàlá ìkànnbẹ wọn ní gbérí ọdẹ ọlọ́run lónìí arógo gbogbo ẹ ti di iṣẹ́ báyìí ìdí àwọn èèyàn ń kọ́ ṣé àjogúnbá ni ká pè ní téèyàn bá ti gbọ́ lẹ́nu bàbá rẹ̀ ó ti mọ̀ nù ẹ wá dúró oríkì ìlú tí ń bẹ lórí ẹlòmíì tí ò sì ní síwèé wò ẹ rí pé kìí ṣeré ẹ wá dúró oríkì ìdílé tí ń bẹ ní orí ẹlòmíì láyé yìí tí wọn ò sì ní síwèé wò ẹ wo oríkì irúfẹ́ ọmọ téèyàn rí kó jẹ́ ẹ mọ̀ pé nílẹ̀ Yorùbá oríṣiríṣi lọ́mọ àbí kan àpè lójó bí irú àwa yìí òjò olúkù lóye ìgbéniṣẹ́ ẹyẹ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni àìná kẹ̀kẹ́ lẹ́gùn ìgè ńbẹ́ńbẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ àti bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ tí gbogbo oríkì sì ń bẹ lórí àwọn kan láì ní síwèé wò ṣé wọ́n kọ́ ni àbí wọ́n kàwé débẹ̀ àbí àtẹnudẹ́nu lẹ́nu àwọn bàbá wọn jogún rẹ̀ ni. ǹjẹ́ oríkì bó ṣe wá wà yìí ìjọ ti ní àkọsílẹ̀ fún àfipamọ́ tí yóò jẹ́ gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹwà ọmọ Yorùbá tẹ́ pé àwọn àrọ́mọdọ́mọ ni wọ́n ẹbí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ èèyàn ẹlòmíì ò móríkì ara ẹ̀ débi pé yóò tiẹ̀ lè kíra rẹ̀ kò lè kíra rẹ̀ débi pé yóò kí ọmọ tó bí kò lè kí ọmọ sóti ẹ̀dọ́kọ rẹ̀ ó lè dọ́kọ kì gan àbí ọkọ náà lè dá ìyàwó kì ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ móríkì ìyàwó ẹ̀ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ móríkì ọkọ lọ́ọ̀fù yìí náà sáni I love you tọ́mọ wa ń bínú bó o lọ ṣe é máa wò yá yìí ó ti ń gbà mí láago ẹ ṣe sùúrù á gbọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu yín bẹ́ẹ̀ àti bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ ẹ rí i pé iṣẹ́ ńlá wọn á níṣẹ́ ńlá orin kéwú iṣẹ́ oríkìkíkì yìí ká kí olóde ẹni tá a mọ̀ rí tá a bá pàdé lóde tí ẹ kàn jẹnu wújẹ́wújẹ́ sí ìyàn létí pé ọmọ gbangba ń dokan ni o sẹ́mi tí ń wọ̀ mọ́ ojúlẹ̀jà rẹ̀ bóò ni wọ́n ṣe kí gbangbando kan ṣùgbọ́n àwọn tẹ́ ẹ bá ti sọ sí wọn létí báyìí wúyẹ́wúyẹ́ lára táwọn béèrè lọ́wọ́ wọn ni pé ṣé wọ́n á máa lo ìsọ̀yè fún iṣẹ́ wọn yìí ni àbọ̀ ní àwọn lúbúlúbú ojú ọlọ́kan tí wọ́n máa tọ́ láwọn tó jáde ńlé gbogbo ẹni bá ti fojú kàn tó bá ti lọ́mọ báyìí lòun kí wọ́n sì máa gbé wá fún mi kí n máa kì wọ́n lọ iṣẹ́ ìmọ̀ kúkú yáàyè pọ̀ o lẹ́ni tí orí rẹ̀ bá máa ń wú ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ tó wà lókè òkun ara tí wọ́n fi máa ń ṣẹwà tí wọ́n fi máa ń dọ́lá pé ọmọ Yorùbá àtàtà làwọn ò ní kí wọ́n ní oríkì tàbí kí wọ́n máa kì wọ́n lọ́hùn-ún káwọn òyìnbó aláwọ̀ funfun àbáwọn ìlú míì tọ́jẹ́ ní Áfíríkà kí wọ́n máa gbọ́ kí wọ́n máa wò wọ́n lẹ́nu báyìí. And what are you saying? Oh, you don't know what I'm doing? Kí wọ́n máa sọ pé wọ́n ń kí oríkì ilé àwọn ni. ìyín lá máa lọ yẹ̀wò lọ́jọ́ tèní ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n gbé ẹni tó jẹ́ pé iṣẹ́ ìgan làwọn gbámú tọ́yàn láàyò láwọn ibi tẹ́ ẹ ti lọ ṣe surprise oríkìrí lẹ́yìn tẹ́ ẹ ń ṣiṣẹ́ yìí ǹjẹ́ àti rèé tẹ́ ẹ ti ẹ̀ ṣe tẹ́ ẹ ti ẹ̀ fẹ́ ẹ lè regret pé ta ló wà ní awa o bóyá tẹ́ ẹ lọ bá bóyá alákọ̀wé kan àwọn alákọ̀rí kan táwọn ọ̀wọ́rì tí wọ́n ń gbé no I don't want this is barbaric. No, I appreciate you, but I don't want it. Just stop it. No. Madam, don't say anything again. Don't author a statement. I don't want it. Yeah. Màá kàn fún wọn lówó pé ẹ máa lọ mi ì fẹ́ gbọ́. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ lè lórí kì pé èdè tí wọ́n lè ní ọ̀fọ̀ ni wọ́n lè lẹ́sìn àwọn ọ̀faramọ́. Ìjà àti bárù rẹ̀ pàdé rínú ẹ̀yìn tẹ̀ ń ṣiṣẹ́ yìí. Tọ́fẹ̀ ẹ̀ jámọ́ ìtìjú kú ọ̀nbẹ̀ pé anyway àwa ti ẹ̀kú ti gbowó wa lọ́wọ́ màdàmú wàhálà àti yín nù. Láwọn ojú agbo tẹ́ ẹ ti lọ ṣiṣẹ́ kẹ́ẹ̀kìyàn rí àwọn ẹ̀gbin wọn ló ti rẹ́ yín lára rí látàrí pé ẹ̀ ń ṣiṣẹ́ yìí. Ǹjẹ́ iṣẹ́ yìí ní ìpèníjà kankan ìjọ ládojúkọ kankan àbí wẹ̀lẹ̀mú ni téèyàn bá ti mọ̀ ọ́ téèyàn bọ̀ wá kọ́sẹ̀ tí ó mọ̀ yanjú tí ó lè kí gbogbo oríkì yóò lò tọ́dún mélòó kó tó lè kọ́ àbí wọn èé kọ́ tọ́ba kọ́ tó yanjú tẹ́ ẹ lóyún you are certified tẹ́ ẹ sì fún sabuké ìjọ ní àwọn irinṣẹ́ kan tí ó ní tí ó fi mọ́ ṣiṣẹ́ yìí àbí irinṣẹ́ ọpọlọ lásán ni Ọlọ́run ló sì lọ́pọlọ gbogbo àwọn wọ̀nyí là á máa béèrè lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀yin tẹ́ pé sẹ́yìn lẹ̀ ń ṣe tẹ́ ẹ bá ní orí ọ̀fẹ́ àti àǹfààní tẹ́ ẹ fi pè wọlé sórí ètò wọ́n pe nọ́mbà tó wọnú kulu àti pé ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ jẹ́ aráalé ìjẹ́ ń bá àwọn èèyàn yìí pàdé iṣẹ́ wọn ìbò lórí lójú tìyín ṣé ìranù ni àbíṣẹ́ tẹ́ ẹ faramọ́ tínú yín dùn sí ǹjẹ́ yín náà ti ṣerú ẹ̀ rí surprise oríkì tán wá ṣe fún yín àbẹ́ ni wọ́n ṣe fọ́kọ yín àbọ́mọ yín. nọ́mbà tó wọnú kulu ìkànnì Amutajero lọ́sàn-án tèní gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìṣe wa 091 6104 7698 091 61 04 7698 tàbí 081 105 264 87 081 105 264 87 tàbí 090 228 09257 090 228 09257 ẹ jẹ́ á gbé ìpè hello ẹ káàsán ó ti re tàbí ẹ̀yin tó jẹ́ pé iṣẹ́ ìgan ni iṣẹ́ yín kẹ́ ẹ pè ẹ̀sà kẹ́ ẹ kí oríkì ẹ jẹ́ á gbọ́ ẹ̀yin rédíò yín lẹ́ o.
ẹ káàsán o.
orúkọ yín àti àdúgbò.
wàá ta ọ̀pàlẹ̀.
kí lẹ pè é.
wàá ọ̀pàlẹ̀ pọ̀.
ẹ má bínú ìyá wa ojú òpó yẹn ò tọ́. hello. ẹ káàsán orúkọ yín àti àdúgbò.
orúkọ mi ni Abiodun Ibrahim láti Àròyé níbàdàn.
láti Àròyé nìbàdàn bàbá ṣé iṣẹ́ ilẹ̀ yìí fi ń ṣiṣẹ́ ṣe ni àbí kí ló fẹ́ sọ.
mi ò fi ṣiṣẹ́ ṣe ọkàn jẹ́ tí ó dùn mọ́ nínú pé ètò tẹ́ gbé wá lónìí. ṣẹ́ni ní February 14 ó ní bẹ́ẹ̀dẹ̀ mi. so mo kàn wá tọ́ mo jí láàárọ̀ ọjọ́ náà mo rí tí ọmọ mi tó ti lọ pé àwọn tó mọ̀ ṣe kí nìyẹn wá. so èmi kàn ti mọ́ọ̀sì gbọ́ báyìí bí mo ṣe wọlé àwọn yẹn wọ́n ti dúró sí ẹ̀gbẹ́ kan.
wọ́n ti gọ́.
wọ́n gọ́ sí ẹ̀gbẹ́ kan wọ́n wá jẹun tó yà mí lẹ́nu pé mo máa bọ̀ tá báyìí ọ̀sán pé láti mi àwọn kan.
wọ́n béèrè yín o.
mo ní àwọn ta ni níjà yìí àwọn olóòfẹ́ béèrè mi mo ṣe àpọ̀ tá báyìí nígbà bẹ̀rẹ̀ kéjì.
nọ́mbà dá gbogbo ẹ̀ bólẹ̀.
mẹ́tẹ̀ dá gbogbo ẹ̀ bólẹ̀ nu ó ń fèrè yìí ìlú tẹ̀kẹ̀rẹ̀ ọwọ́ àjọ mi lójú.
ṣé wọ́n wá kì yín.
kódà orí kì yẹn kódà ojú gbogbo mi màtò tí náà bá dùn jù gan omi ọ̀yọ́ lójú èèyàn.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
so wọ́n kì í débi pé èmi gan inú mi dùn pọ̀.
ní èdè kúkúrú iṣẹ́ wọn yẹn ẹ rí i pé sẹ́ni ẹ sì fọ́ fún.
iṣẹ́ gidi ni o.
tọ́
iṣẹ́ gidi kódà iṣẹ́ dáadáa ni.
ẹ ṣeun.
ọlọ́run gbọ́ iṣẹ́ dáadáa. tẹ bá rí ní àdúgbò wa ń jọ náà. mo gba ìdèjì pé èrò wa kọ̀.
rẹ́rẹ́rẹ́.
torí ẹni tó wà ní oríkì yẹn gbọ́dọ̀ bá yẹ kí àwọn èèyàn mọ̀ ni wọ́n má dàbí ìpolówó ìbàdàn àbọ̀.
ẹ má dàkọ rẹ ẹ má dàkọ ẹ. hello. ẹ káàsán. ibi ẹwà yẹn gbẹ ń ṣe wùrùwùrù. hello. hello ẹ káàsán. yes ma. ẹ bá ní gbóhùn sókè orúkọ yín àtàdúgbò. ìpè wa ń kọlù pé adá kan lẹ̀ lọ́sàn-án. hello. yes sir.
hello orúkọ mi ni Bọ́lá Àríyá. láti ìlú Ìṣẹ́yìn.
ṣé sẹ́yìn ni iṣẹ́ ti yín.
ọmọ tí mo mọ̀ ń pa rẹ̀ díẹ̀ ni.
ẹ̀yin náà mọ oríkì.
mo mọ̀ ń pa ìsà díẹ̀.
ṣùgbọ́n ṣé ẹ máa fi ṣiṣẹ́ ṣe.
mi ì ṣiṣẹ́ ṣe ṣùgbọ́n mo mọ̀ ń pa rẹ̀ díẹ̀ ni.
ẹ já títí sí anétíkàtì ẹ̀ wo bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe máa ń ṣe tó.
ó tó ò bẹ́ẹ̀ bọ́lá tó nílùú àti ìní àìtó nílùú nídìjà. ìkọ́mi làlùjẹ mo tàbí rékéréké. ìbá ni wọ́n fọjọ́ oníjẹ̀rẹ́ ìjọ làkójúbà pẹ̀tẹ́ owó ìbá ní pẹ̀tẹ́ ẹsẹ̀. ìbá ìyá ní òṣùwọ̀ngá o. àtòríjọ fún.
ó ti dá a báwọn ẹ máa jorí yín àtọkùn yín bí ẹ wà ẹ ti gbìyànjú. hello.
ẹ̀lẹ́ káàkiri o.
orúkọ yín àti bí ẹ ti pè wá.
orúkọ mi ni ìyá mi.
ariwo pọ̀ nbí tẹ́ ẹ wa màmá wa inú kẹ́ ẹ bó wa yín rédíò sílẹ̀ àbí kẹ́ ẹ sún kó ń bẹ̀ díẹ̀ ká lè bá àgbádùn yín dáadáa. ibi tí a wà yẹn ò jẹ́ àgbádùn wọn rárá. tọ́ àwọn èèyàn ìpè ń wọlé ẹ̀yin tó gbé iṣẹ́ ìgan lẹ fi ń ṣiṣẹ́ ṣe mo fẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ pè. hello. orúkọ yín àtàdúgbò. inú kẹ́ ẹ súnkù òǹbí rédíò àbí ibi tó ń hó tẹ́ ẹ wà ní la fi lè. ọjà mò ń gbọ́ yín. àbí. hello. ẹ wò ẹ ní bínú àgbádùn kẹ́ni yẹn dáadáa ẹ káàsán. orúkọ yín àtàdúgbò. sẹ́yìn máa kí yín sólórí kì níyìn ni ṣẹṣẹ tí yín ni. tí wọ́n bá kí yín ǹjẹ́ ẹ ti ẹ̀ mórí kì ìdílé ti yín. ẹ mọ̀ sẹ́yìn gangan lórí kì. kí lórí kì yín. àdìsá ẹ kíra yín díẹ̀ já gbọ́.
àdìsá ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ rẹ̀ bí ọba bá jẹun fún ẹrú.
ọmọ kí ni.
bí ọba bá jẹun fún ẹrú.
tọ́mọ bá jẹun fún ẹrú.
tọ́mọ bá jẹun fún ẹrú ní ẹrú ti ọba.
tọ́mọ bá jẹun kù fẹ́ ẹrú ní ẹrú jọba.
ní ẹrú ń kí ọba.
lẹ́rú ń kí ọba. ó ti tán.
ọmọ olókùn ló lẹ́sìn.
ọmọ olókùn náà ní ọ̀lẹ́sìn eléèkù lọ́làdá. ẹlẹ́ ẹ̀ka àṣà ti wọlé àwẹ̀rẹ̀ gò ẹlẹ́ ẹ̀ka àṣà. hello.
orúkọ mi ni Barakat.
àǹtí Barakat ń gbọ́ yín o.
èmi náà tún mọ̀ ń pa àwọn oríṣi ìlú tó máa ń ṣe dáadáa ṣùgbọ́n mi ò tí kò tó lè ẹ́.
ẹ tí rẹ tó lè help yín bíi báwo bíi ti báwo.
mo fẹ́ fi ṣiṣẹ́ ṣá.
tẹ́ ẹ fẹ́ fi ṣiṣẹ́ ṣe tẹ́ ẹ fẹ́ nímọ̀ nípa rẹ̀ sí i. ẹ sọ̀rọ̀ mọ́ o àǹtí báràkà tọ̀ bóyá lómi ti lé yín kú ń bẹ̀ ẹ̀ lóye káàsán o. hello yes ma.
mo ní
ìpè kan ní gbọ̀n ọmọ yẹn lẹ́nu ẹ̀ lóye káàsán.
mo bá àkàtì lọ́kọ̀ mi.
à ń gbọ́ yín.
mo ní mo fẹ́ ti máa ṣiṣẹ́ ṣá.
ṣé ẹ̀yin náà mọ oríkì ẹ lè kí ẹ ní orí ẹ mọ àwọn oríkì ìlú.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni mo lè kí ara mi gan.
ẹ lè kí ara yín ẹ bá má ti kí ara yín sẹ́mi ó sọ oríkì tèmi fún yín sẹ́ẹ̀kì.
ẹ̀sán.
ọmọ alágbó ni mí.
ọmọ adágbó ni.
alágbó.
alágbó. ok.
ọ̀yà.
sọ́kàn Ìbàdàn ní ìní.
ọmọ Ìbàdàn ni mí ọmọ alágbó ni mí ìdílé alágbó.
ọmọ kọ́kọ́ tí ń bá lọ ní àwọn ṣẹ́bí wà ní Ìbàdàn nílé ọ̀rìn alẹ́ àjẹsí àkàrà ọ̀hún Ìbàdàn mọ́tà.
ibk sọ̀ǹgbọ́ o ẹ̀ ń sọ ńlẹ̀ ẹ kọ́ kì mí ná ẹ kọ́ kí alágbó ná ẹ ti ẹ̀ fi Ìbàdàn lẹ̀ ná.
ọ̀sẹ̀ kí n kọ́ bẹ̀ kí adágbó.
alágbó ẹ gbọ́ rí.
èmi ò gbọ́ rí o.
ẹ já tún wẹ lómi ẹ lé ẹ káàsán. hello. hello ẹ káàsán. ẹ ti wọlé o. orúkọ yín àtàdúgbò.
Sukura láti Omíyalé.
àǹtí Sukura láti Omíyalé. sẹ́yìn náà mọ̀ ń pa sẹ́yìn ni àbí kí lẹ rí sí i.
mi ò ń parẹ́ o pọ̀ mọ́ oríkì ọkọ mi.
ẹ lè kí oríkì ọkọ yín ọmọ ìlú wo làwọn.
Ìbàdàn ni bọ̀bọ́lé kí.
ìdílé wọn ń kọ́. ìdílé wọn ń kọ́. ìdílé wọn.
ìdílé wọn. ọmọ ọlọ́fà.
ọmọ ọ̀ya ẹ kì ìdílé ọlọ́fà.
ọmọ ọlọ́fà mọ̀tò ọlálọ́mí ọmọ abíkúgbé kọ ọmọ ìjàkadì lóru ọ̀fà ọmọ ìjàlọ̀fà wọn ló sojú tani ó sojú èpè ó sojú poro lọ́nà òkú bá sojú olóko ńbálà ọmọ pínre láàrin ìkókó gbọ́dọ̀ jù kan.
ó ti tán gbogbo wa náà la mọ̀ yẹn gbogbo wa la mọ̀ yẹn mo rí kí wọn tó. hello.
hello.
ẹ káàsán màmá wa.
ẹ káàsán o.
ó jàre mà.
ó jàre orúkọ mi ni láàfin olúwa tó ní adékọ́lé.
tọ́
láti alákíá ní Ìbàdàn.
láti alákíá ní Ìbàdàn màmá wa ṣíṣe ìníṣẹ́ ti yín.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
ẹ̀yin máa kíyàn.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
kò sì sí oríkì tẹ́ ẹ fẹ́ ẹ mọ̀.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
màmá iṣẹ́ ìṣeṣẹ́ ni.
iṣẹ́ ni o.
ṣé wọ́n máa tọ́lọ́ máa báyọ̀ fàlùbáríkà sí dáadáa ṣé wọ́n máa ń kọ́ ni àbí àjogúnbá.
èmi máa ń síyàn jẹ torí pé ó wù mí mo ṣe kóyá nìkan kan tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ nídìí mi.
níbi pé síyàn jẹ lẹ́yìn fi mọ̀.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni torí tó bá ń ṣe ẹ̀yìn ló máa ń dùn èmi náà máa fọkàn sí pé àwọn ọ̀dọ́ ọmọ tó lè lè.
lẹ́bà fọkàn sí lọ́ba diṣẹ́ mọ̀ yín lọ́wọ́.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
màmá kálẹ̀yìn wá fẹ́ kọ́ṣẹ́ yìí lọ́dọ̀ yín tí tó náà mọ̀ fi ṣiṣẹ́ ṣe kí ni àwọn nǹkan tó nílò láti kọ́ṣẹ́ yìí irúfẹ́ èèyàn wo ló lè kọ́ àti pé yóò gbà yàn tọdún mélòó àbọ̀sẹ̀ mélòó àbọ̀jọ́ mélòó kó tó mọ gbogbo oríkì.
ẹ̀wọ̀n tí ẹ bá fẹ́ mọ nǹkan tó bá ti wùyàn ẹ̀yẹ́ gbọ́dọ̀ fẹ́ pàtó ó lè mú báyàn lọ́dún ó lè mú báyàn lọ́jọ́ ó lè mú báyàn lọ́sì. ọ̀kẹ́yìn fẹ́ pàtó ní kókó ọ̀kan. nǹkan yóò fẹ́ mọ̀ sí ṣe yóò mọ̀ sí.
so màmá tí wọ́n bá dárúkọ oríkì ìdílé kan fún yín ní ìsìn àbílù ẹ kí wọ́n.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
irú èmi tí mo wá ní mo jẹ́ ọmọ alágbó ńkọ́ ṣé ẹ lè kí èmi.
ọmọ alágbó.
ọmọ alágbó má ti ẹ̀ jẹ́ ọmọ agbógbó orí kékeré àrípagídà sọ́gídà tọ̀tọ̀ yẹn àríyàn jẹ́ ara ọjọ́ wọn. màmá wa màmá kí ni àwọn nǹkan téèyàn nílò tó bá mọ oríkì tán tó jẹ́ bí irinṣẹ́ fún un kí làwọn nǹkan tó nílò.
ohun rẹ̀ náà ni iṣẹ́ mi lẹ́yìn ìtẹ́yọ̀ bá tún lè yẹn tó lé ní ìlú yálà ìlú dòdò bàtà pẹ̀pẹ̀rẹ̀ àkókò àforíjì àti ohun.
mama ìjẹ́ àwọn àdójúkọ kankan bẹ nínú iṣẹ́ ìfọ̀n tí bá ń ṣe pé téèyàn lè fi wòkèwò lẹ̀ ń jọ́ kan pé ṣé n ó ṣiṣẹ́ ìmọ̀ báyìí.
ọjọ́ náà wà dáadáa o.
àwọn àdójúkọ wà bíi kíní máa dojúkọ yín.
ìgbà míì sábà lọ ṣe bóyá bíi surprise birthday tí àwọn èèyàn kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ sí àyíbá mi tó bẹ̀ ní báyìí lọ́ba mi kì wọ́n o. bẹ́ẹ̀ ni bẹ́ẹ̀ tí wọ́n wúrẹ̀ bí ẹni pé àti kí ló ń ta àwọn ilé.
kí làwọn ilé.
wọ́n lè gbàgbọ́ lọ́wọ́ ọ̀tẹ̀ dé èèyàn. òbí yẹn máa ń jẹ́ kó sírò mi gbà mí. wọ́n tó máa padà táwọn padà àti ìta padà iṣẹ́ yẹn pé àti oríṣi yẹn inú wọn ó ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wà á dùn. ìgbọ̀n pẹ́ tó rí ṣe ìní yìí mọ́ dàbí àbùkù.
ṣé ó dàbí embarrassment. ọ̀dà màmá wa bó ṣe wá jẹ́ pé iṣẹ́ ẹ̀ níṣẹ́ ẹ̀ tì yín tá a bá wá jọ sọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́yìn ètò pé kéèyàn tiẹ̀ wá sórí ètò gangan káwọn èèyàn béèrè tí wọ́n fẹ́ béèrè lọ́wọ́ yín nípa iṣẹ́ ṣe é wà.
lágbára Ọlọ́run.
ọ̀dà bó bá di lẹ́yìn ètò ẹ pè mí ká sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ ṣé o ẹ ṣé àdúgbò. ibk wàhálà rẹ pọ̀ ọfẹ́ kíra rẹ ọmọ kí ni ọ́ àlejò inú kulu.
ọmọ àró ọmọ àmọ̀ràn tó ti ilé Ifẹ̀ wá jọba ọmọ àyìnà agbọ́lùmájà aṣọdẹ bíi olóńgbò ọmọ àkíyèsí ọmọ fẹ́ kí n ní ju àfọ̀tá forí ẹyẹ fàtàn jálù bí ẹ̀fọn.
ọmọ tó lọ gbé oríkì lọ́wọ́ sórí gọ́ọ̀gù jẹ́ ìgbà pé ẹyọ ẹnìkan yìí ká fi parí rẹ̀ lórí ètò ẹ̀ lóye káàsán. yes orúkọ yìí láti ìlú Ìlọrin Àfọ̀njá ìlú Gèrè Álímì ọ̀yá.
èmi lọmọ ọlọ́jẹ̀.
ọmọ ọlọ́jẹ̀ ọ̀yá.
èmi lọmọ ọlọ́jẹ̀ Òkótó ọmọ Adébọ̀rí ọmọ ọ̀tọ̀tọ̀ fọ́gídé nìyẹn ẹrú ọlọ́jẹ̀ ọlọ́mọ ọlọ́jẹ̀ lòun ìwọ̀fọ̀ ọlọ́jẹ̀ ọlọ́mọ ọlọ́jẹ̀ lòun gbogbo wọn gbéra wọn lọ rèé pààlà pọ̀ ibi tí mo mọ̀ ọdún náà.
oríkì kan náà lóríkì wa ọlọmọra wọn ẹ farabalẹ̀ n ó tù dálẹ̀ fún yín tó lọ n ó jà téńté fún yín ẹ ṣeun. ẹ rí i pé kinní ọ̀hún ó dàbí eré ni kì í ṣeré o òun náà lẹ ti gbọ́n pàápàá jùlọ ìyá wa tó jẹ́ pé ìyá wa tó yin àyàbá tó pé iṣẹ́ yìí làwọn fi ń ṣiṣẹ́ sí pẹ̀lú ògo náà á gbà wọ́n ní àlejò lórí ètò yìí nígbà tí ó bá di lọ́la wọ́n sọ̀jọ́ tí wọ́n wà á ti jọ sọ̀rọ̀ yóò gún mọ́ iṣẹ́ oríkì kíkì lásìkò yìí òun náà ti di iṣẹ́ o gbogbo òwò tó lọ́pọlọ ládùúgbò tó yẹ pé ẹjọ́ ọ̀yà ló fi ń rò ó kí inú ilé onílé lọ kọ́sẹ́ yìí lọ fọpọlọ sí i kí wọn náà máa kí wọ́n kọ́ ọ máa gbowó kọ́ ọ máa jẹ kọ́ ọ máa mu kọ́ ọ máa dámúsò ládùúgbò. ó dà ọmọ Yorùbá àtàtà ó yẹ ká lè mọ orírun wa ká mọ̀ pìlẹ̀ wa olóyìnbó àpè wọn ní ṣé lineage náà ń pè é ẹ̀yin náà ẹ mọ̀ kẹ ẹ bá kira yín ẹ kí ọmọ yín ẹ kí ọkọ yín kó rí yín ọjọ́ wú ẹjọ́ ṣe wò gògò lórí ibùsùn nǹkan dé ẹjí ń gbé ìpè yìí hello ọ̀dà pásìkò mísìkù ìṣẹ́jú kan sàní ń bẹ lórí ètò ẹ káàsán.
olóyè Taofik Odúọlá onífìlà.
bàbá wa Odúọlá onífìlà bàbá ẹ ní bàjẹ́ o àríwá yín tí ẹ ṣeun bá mi.
ẹ rà mà ṣe rí nǹkan tẹ ẹ mú wáyé.
bàbá.
ẹ pé màmá ìjẹsẹ ìwé yẹn wá ẹ wá sọ fún wọn pé ẹni bá ń tijú ò lè ṣiṣẹ́ yẹ kó yọ ẹni tó bá ń tijú ò lè ṣiṣẹ́ yẹ kó yọra tó bá ti ń wojú èèyàn tẹ́rù bá ti ń gbà bó ń ti.
ká máa tó fẹ́ wí mọ́.
àwọn gbọ́dọ̀ ọmọ tápá lórí.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni bàbá ẹ ṣeun.
iṣẹ́ yẹn iṣẹ́ tó dáa ni kì í sọ́ọ̀tì èèyàn o.
iṣẹ́ ẹni tó pinjú ni. bàbá wa Taofik Odúọlá onífìlà wọ́n ní iṣẹ́ ẹni tó pinjú ni kì í ṣe iṣẹ́ ẹni tí màá tijú àbí wọ́n ń wò mí àbí wọ́n ń rọ́bìṣì mi àbí wọ́n ń fàbùkù kàn mí ó dúró tiẹ̀ tán ni ó sì concentrate lórí n tó fẹ́ ṣe ẹ wo ibk ó ti kíra rẹ̀ ọmọ kí ló pera rẹ̀ náà ọmọ ìlú.
ọmọ àmọ̀ràn tó ti lé
ní sùúrù máa
ọmọ kótóǹkótó.
ọmọ kótókótó.
ọmọ kótóǹkótó.
sẹ́bí náà ló ń wò nínú ìwé.
ọmọ àyìnà.
ọmọ àyìnà
ọmọ agbọ́lùmájà.
Ọlọ́run ṣàánú ọ̀dà ibi ni èmi ò rí dé ní ọ̀sán tèmi tá a fi máa lọ tó bá di lọ́la ìgbà tí olóríkì ìwà wà tí àwọn fi ń ṣiṣẹ́ ṣe máa sọ fún yín bí wọ́n ṣe ń ṣiṣẹ́ wọn bí iṣẹ́ ìṣe dowó bó ṣe já sówó ẹ gbọ́ èmi náà sọ mo lémi náà lóríkì ẹlòmíì ò móríkì rẹ̀ kí lásán ẹlòmíì kíní kan àjàgbé ń bẹ àlàmú ń bẹ kíní kan àmẹ́mi làdí ọ̀gọ̀ tó mú sọ ẹni ó gọ̀jẹ́ èmi lọ́mọ ọkọ ló sọ mí lèmi ò wálé mọ́ mo ló ń tán jẹ nílé ni ọmú bá ń lóko kí ni èmi làdí ọ̀gọ̀ tó mú sọ ẹni ó gọ̀jẹ́ èmi lọ́mọ alágbọ́mọ̀ tí ọ̀jẹ́ ọmọ agbógbó orí kékeré àrè pàgídà sọ́gídọ̀ tọ̀tọ̀ èèyàn àrè ọ̀jẹ́ ara ọjọ́ wọn èmi lọ́mọ oko ló sọ mí lèmi ò wálé mọ́ mo ló ń tán jẹ nílé ni ẹmú bá ń lóko tẹkùrú takara ní lọ́wọ́ mọ́ ànájà ọ̀pọ̀ sékété ní wọn máa bógun dé tèmi jẹun ọ̀tún mi tẹ́ rí ní ìgbẹ́gi òsì mi ìyẹn náà òsì tí mo mú yẹn náà ló wù wọ́n torí pé mọjọ́ máa gbẹ́gi rúkúṣe láyàbá gbígbẹ́ ni wọ́n gbẹ́ ní bàbá tó bí mi lọ́mọ ẹnìkan èrò ọmọ ọlọ́mọ làwádìí irú èmi lọ́mọ kújẹ́ ńlá ooo làgbáyàrá ọjọ́ wọn ọmọ kújẹ́ ńlá ẹ wò ó tó bá di lọ́la lórí ètò yìí á ṣe kíni a tún bọ́ sí abala ìwọ ọkùnrin kí ló dé gan-an ẹ̀ wá gbà mí ẹ fẹ́ pè mí lẹ́yìn ètò ẹni polówó ẹni kéde gbogbo tẹ́ ẹ fẹ́ ká yé ọmọ lórí ìkànnì iléeṣẹ́ rédíò yìí ìkànnì Amutajero IBR 92.5 FM pàápàá jùlọ lórí ètò iṣẹ́ lówó iṣẹ́ wo lẹ́yìn náà ń ṣe tẹ́ ẹ fẹ́ káwọn èèyàn mọ̀ iṣẹ́ ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ ní àwọn èèyàn kú mọ̀ ẹ jẹ́ wọn mọ̀ ẹ bá ti mọ̀ ẹ́ rí bó ṣe dowó ní ìsìn ọgbọ́n tuntun tẹ́ ẹ̀ tó gbọ́ǹdì rẹ̀ ẹ̀ tó kọ̀ ẹ pè mí lẹ́yìn ètò sórí nọ́mbà ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ mi ọ̀yá ẹ mú gègé àti tákàdá ẹ̀kọ́ nọ́mbà alẹ̀ 070 30 26 1928 070 30 26 1928 mo sì kí IBK ọ̀rẹ́ mi dáadáa òun náà bá wa dá sí àlejò onúkúlù òun náà kíra rẹ̀ oríkì tiẹ̀ náà ṣe kí ni ó wọ ọ́nà dáadáa legit ní 100 àbí. Àpàdé lọ́la yóò dùn yóò dùn ìró ìdùnnú tọ̀dọ̀ wá jáde sọ́dọ̀ yín ire o ẹ má pọ̀ mbẹ́ o àwọn ikọ̀ wa tí ó fún yín ní ìròyìn tó lékenke tó sì ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ tó lékenka ẹ darapọ̀ mọ́ wọn ẹ ǹlẹ́ ń bẹ̀ wọn ẹ kú kalẹ̀.
ọmọ ọba méjì o. Yes. Ipa business radio rí Amutajero rí.